I don't need Adobe Premiere Pro basics to be taught to me for $30,000 a year. I remember having a conversation with one of my professors about like how much money people make. One of them had like a job as like a waiter at a restaurant while being like a PhD professor. I mean, from streaming towards the end, I was doing like 50 grand a month off streaming alone, which is pretty good.
Welcome back to Horseshoe Theory. Today's guest is Turkey Tom. Tom is a prolific commentary YouTuber covering internet stories, drama, and the most despicable characters known to man. In this episode, we talk about what it's like getting famous on the internet in high school, dropping out of college to pursue your own business, the mental downsides of being an internet person and the isolation that comes with the territory, how people like Twomad were deeply warped by their fame, and most importantly, why Tom gave up his streaming career. Joining us today as well is Gokanaru as a third co-host. Lock in, take notes, don't lose your mind as we bring you Turkey Tom. That's good. I like
so
that.
pretty recent.
Yeah.
You're like I hate polycules, but 3 months ago you were like that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens with polyamorous people. Once they stop being polyamorous, they become really anti-polyamorous.
Is that a trend?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I totally see that.
Like it's a trend of like the person I was 6 months ago is the worst kind of person.
Right. Oh, yeah. So just
what if you just like never started?
Never started?
Yeah.
Other than I would never know what it was like.
I guess I mean, you can know what it's like without being involved now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like everybody says, like don't knock it till you try it. Like maybe if you try it, you become like irredeemable.
Yeah, yeah. You know, people often consult me about this. They say, "Should I become polyamorous?"
They consult you about it.
Yeah, and then
is that real?
And then I say, you know, maybe you want to get it out of your system, but maybe you get some stuff into your system when you try it. You know, like sexually transmitted diseases.
But also, like once you're in a polycule, I feel like I would never want to date anyone who'd ever been in a polycule.
Yeah.
I feel like to a normal man, that's like very like used goods. Like
yeah.
You're done.
Yeah. Perhaps.
You know what I always say?
I've never been to a polycule personally.
At a swingers party, the only thing that would be swinging would be my fists when people try to fuck my wife.
Oh, yeah. The only thing that would be
take your wife there just to fight people who try to fuck her?
Yeah, that's my fetish. That's my kink.
Is this guy bothering you?
Yeah.
You're just like out there looking for a fucking confrontation.
People definitely do that.
No, 100%.
That's like
you're trying to like just edge yourself like to almost the point of being a cuck and then like fighting them when they try.
You know what would be swinging if I went?
What?
My dick.
Your dick into other people's wives?
No, just around.
Like just
it wouldn't be going anywhere.
You'd go there and just helicopter. And if someone tries to touch it, you're like, you're like, don't rape me.
Oh, that's me. I came here for a purpose. It was to swing my dick.
You can make like a video about how you're like a victim of sexual assault. You're like, so I went to a polycule party and I was helicoptering my cock and a woman touched it without asking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd pay someone to helicopter their cock at a party. In a cage.
At a normal party?
At a normal party.
You pay essentially for male sex work.
No, it's funny.
Oh, okay.
I like the idea. You're like
funny.
a prude, but you go to like swinger parties and you're in a polycule. But like every sexual act, you're just like,
get mad.
This is like, too much. This is too much.
This is gross.
Yeah. I can't believe it. But then you just go home and jack off to all of it, like the memory of it.
That's someone out there.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, you're grimacing at me.
You dress up like a cop and wear a police body cam to the polycule and beat people up and go home and jerk off to you beating people up.
I don't know. After I did that fetish video, my mind's been open to what people are into.
Wait, sorry. Been open in what context?
Oh, just like I had no idea there was like so many things that you could be attracted to.
Yeah.
The pancake flattening one was really funny. I found a bunch of images of people like baking Sonic into pancake batter and making him into a pancake.
Yeah.
Like thousands of those.
Yeah.
Or being run over with steamrollers and they're like 2-dimensional afterwards and everyone makes fun of them for being 2-dimensional now.
Have you seen Scumbagovich?
I was just about to say Frankie dude, there's some stuff that she's been covering that it's just like holy shit.
There's this video she did where one of the pieces of fetish art is Sandy from SpongeBob with a giant dick.
Yeah.
And Sandy is like huge.
I've seen this.
And she's sucking cars into her
I saw this before the Scumbagovich.
Yeah.
That's
I feel like I knew of it, but I actually saw it.
High level trans docking. Some shit like that.
Dude,
but also bestiality, I guess.
Well, is it docking when
and giantism because they're giant?
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
SpongeBob. But like, what is it? What's the term for when you're sucking stuff into your urethra?
Sounding.
Oh, sounding.
That's not quite sounding. Sounding is a metal rod in your urethra.
Okay.
Well, it's similar.
Well, I don't. Can you ever truly suck things into your urethra?
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me.
I don't think my dick has like suction.
Have you tried?
Like
no.
I think Mr. Slave
generally
in
just
South
goes
Park
out.
or whatever. That's his ass.
Mr.
isn't
Slave,
it?
yeah,
yeah,
he sucks into his ass.
The idea of like putting like a living or moving creature inside your urethra.
Mr. Meeseeks in your
I'm
dick.
sorry for everyone listening, but
Yeah, so we just decided to not monetize this one, I guess.
Yeah, we just jumped right into it.
Tom is an American. He did us a solid by bringing us a bunch of Zins, American-style Zins. Unlike us wretched Canadians, we only get these 4 milligram Zonics. So this is the real stuff. Gokanaru, would you like one?
I would love one. Yes.
Yeah, take one.
Take my Zin virginity, bro.
Just getting things,
I'm gonna be
getting things flowing.
what's the name you'd give to someone who uses Zins? A Zinner?
A Zinner, yeah.
It is a Zinner.
Zinner is a solid term.
All right,
Sounds
boys.
like sinning.
An upper
not
decky,
be-
dude.
Okay, now I would say put it in for like 5 seconds and take it out, so you don't have to leave out of
leave it
nausea.
in. You gotta
think
get
I'd
used
leave
to
it
it.
in?
No,
Five is not
that's
enough.
terrible
Put it in
advice.
for 5 minutes and take it out.
What?
Put it in for like 30 seconds.
Okay, it seems like you care about my well-being.
Yeah.
I care about your future growth.
They
and
think
you
it's
care,
going to be
you
funny.
care basically. Is it just? Are you a chaos agent, or do you think you're just a like
Well,
a pussy?
the thing
if
is, you
don't?
have to start at some point. So everybody gets nauseous their first time.
Okay.
But the thing is, after you get nauseous the first time, the next time will be a little less nauseous. So this is like the start.
This is how Tucker Carlson got swag with the Nelk Boys, right? He was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I fucking pop upper deckies, dude."
Well, they did that video where the Nelk Boys brought the Giants in. You see
Oh
that?
yes,
In the
yes,
helicopter?
yes.
That was
That's
pretty
what it
cool.
takes to just
Interesting.
get swag with the youth right now, dude.
But you know, Zins are woke now, so Tucker Carlson's denounced them.
Wait, why are they woke?
I don't know. I
they're
just
trying
know
not to
that
get banned,
He
probably?
has endorsed this other nicotine thing instead.
Oh, nice.
Well, no, he makes them now. I think he said they're woke because he makes his own. It's called like
okay.
Alpine.
That's what I would do too.
so he's the anti-woke Zin guy,
Yes.
the Zinner. I see.
It's so fucked up. I noticed when I pop Zins, I streamed last night. I did a whole container.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I just get so lucid, and then my views just go up the more I get lucid.
Wow,
Like
that's
2 hours of nonstop rambling.
Not
Bro,
good.
that is dangerous. That sounds dangerous. You might want to go back and see what you were saying because it might have been some crazy shit.
It was great. I was just philosophizing.
Yeah, it kind of amazed me, but you were popping them to fall asleep, basically.
Yeah.
I was kind of amazed. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
fucking like 1 a.m. and you just pop
I
them.
gotta have one. It's kind of a struggle because when I'm laying in bed, I know that the Zen will probably keep me awake a little longer. But if I don't have it, I'm gonna be irritated because I
Yeah.
don't have the nicotine.
Yeah, you wake up in the middle of the night.
I've got to like have it and then take it out and then like pop another one for like 10 minutes and then take it out before it's really done and then I'll kind of fall asleep somewhere in there.
Fascinating.
Are you regimented? Do you like when you go to bed? Are you like lights off, no phone? Are you like a very like locked in alpha male with your schedule?
I
Locked in
wish I
alpha.
was. I mean, my schedule is pretty good at this point, but no, I typically am like watching a movie and I'll like kind of fall asleep to it, which is kind of bad practice for enjoying movies, but I'll generally finish it the next day.
It is the voices. You have to silence the fucking voices, and the only way to do
Trying to
it.
screen record.
The only
Wow.
we're screen recording. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only way to silence the voices, in my experience, is to drown them out with some kind of alternate narrative that's in a a
Yeah.
fantasy world
My
or whatever.
my thoughts do often keep me awake late into the night.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'm interested in like, I don't know. I hate when people talk about their schedules, but at the same time, when I talk to people who like do so much shit, I'm always interested in like what your day to day is. If you
What's your morning routine?
no, not see. This is the thing. I meet people who like you assume they have crazy morning routines, but they just fucking wake up at 11 and like dick around, and they still have like a crazy job.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
don't wake up at 11. There was a time period for a bit when I was like really going hard on the streaming, when my sleep schedule got really fucked up. So I was waking up at like 5 p.m. and going to bed at like 7 a.m.
You were doing the fucking midnight hours, the
I was
the
running
late shift.
It was bad. It was
Yeah.
bad. But typically when I'm performing my best, like as of late, I wake up at like 7 and I go to bed at like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
That's good. That's better than me.
So I like wake up. Usually I'll be like kind of like groggy on my phone for like 20 minutes, half hour, and then drink my pre-workout, go to the gym. Well, I'll eat something. I have to eat something before I go to the gym. So you want to go really in depth. I have to have like a banana or a bowl of cereal. Go to the gym. Come back like
Write
hour
this
and a
down.
half.
Write this down.
Write this down. Come back hour and a half later. I make like 4 eggs and then toast and bacon. And then I shower, and I'm usually working by like 9:30, 10. So there's like, I would say from 7 to 10 is like probably 3 hours I could be more productive. But I don't know. I've always just had a hard time like having a super fast, like just like wake up and get to work. Sometimes I will wake up and just get to work, but then like the gym and eating thing has to be pushed back to later.
Yeah.
But I like to do it in the morning just to get out of the way because there's not a lot of like like around the time like the fucking high school gets out, all the high school kids go to the gym, and I don't want to be around them when I'm at the gym. I like the old heads and like the steroid guys that are there early in the morning.
Yeah.
So I go there, and then I work from like 10 to like 2, and then I'll like have like a late lunch, and then I work till like 7 or 8, and then I eat dinner, and then like watch a movie and go to bed.
That's chill. That's a chill life. 7 days a week.
Yeah, sometimes I'll take a day off just to, like, there's only, you know, I kind of had the mentality for a long time where it's just like go, 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 go. But I'm realizing lately it is catching up to me because I've become a very uncultured person. So that like I've been listening to like the same music for like 5 years. I've been listening to like, or watching the same fucking movies and shows for like 5 years. So I've been trying to, I've stopped streaming recently. I've been trying to pull back from certain things, but I'm still investing the time in other ways. But yeah, it's just, do I have a crazy output? Is that your impression?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
100%.
So you're at the top of an empire.
Well, it's my job. You know, it's my job, and I'm lucky to have it. So I feel like why wouldn't I, you know, treat it like any other job that you would have? You know, I've never had a normal job, so this is all I know. Yeah.
When did you start YouTube? When did you start doing it full time? What age were you?
Full time was when I dropped out of college. I was 19, so that's when I was doing it full time. I had been doing it for like 4 or 5 years before that point, but I didn't really care about making money on YouTube until I was in college, and I realized that I needed money for student loans. And once I was like, I want to drop out, I was like, I need to make a lot of money. So like the third semester of school, I was like doing a lot of Adderall, and I was like in my room instead of doing classes. I skipped a lot of finals, but I made a bunch of money. I saved up like 80 grand over that period, and I just dropped out, and then told my parents, and they were pretty mad about it, but you know.
Then you showed them the checks.
Well, they knew how much money I was making, but they still weren't happy about it.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Which, in fairness, I think there's something to
Bro,
that.
every second, third generation immigrant wants their kid to be educated. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
no, for
just kind
sure.
of the meta.
But they don't understand that you actually should be educated about what's going on in the YouTube drama world. If you really want to.
Precisely. That's where the money's at, bro.
That's where the money's
Well,
at.
my parents didn't go to college, so definitely that was part of it. You know,
Yeah.
And it makes sense because I went to like a very nice, like, you know, upper middle class, like bordering on 1%, like nice white high school where like if you don't go to college, like what the fuck are you doing? Like like kids who went to vocational school, it would kind of be like putting up your nose at them a little bit, like, what are you doing? You're welding? I'm going to Northeastern. I'm going to BU.
Dude,
you know?
vocational school. I've never heard that term ever. That's wild. Damn.
Yeah. Well, vocational school is just like, instead of doing like college, you go for like welding or truck driving or something like that, plumbing.
I get it. Yeah.
Electrical apprenticeship, stuff like that. Stuff that actually makes money.
No, yeah. No, I get it. Practical.
The meta where we grew up in Ottawa.
It's called a college and university.
College, university, government job as well.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the plan.
Was
that your plan? What was your What was your plan?
My plan?
Yeah.
Oh man, honestly,
Ottawa's like a government employee town, right?
Yeah.
Fed town.
Fed town.
But yeah, in my head it was always I did like. There was a point when I watched Suits. My high school had a law class that I really liked, and I was like, yeah, you know, being a lawyer looks cool. Like you get to be a little bit of a weasel. It's a little exciting, whatever. But then I think, I don't know, you realize that being a lawyer in reality, first of all, you have to take a lot of shit for like a decade. Basically, you have to be like whatever it's called, a paralegal, and work your way up and all this shit, which is valid. Obviously, you got to like get entrenched. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, bro, I can see that. Being a lawyer, and they would like bring people to the school, and the lawyers would say like, this is not Suits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is a pain in the ass.
Boring.
It's boring, very boring. And the exciting trial moments that are in every movie, those are just they don't happen. Like, you know what I mean? Especially if you want to make money as a lawyer, right? If you want to make money as a lawyer,
You should be a corporate lawyer.
exactly. You need to basically make it so that fucking Uniqlo or whatever is able to get away with pouring thousands of fucking hundreds of thousands of gallons of fucking oil into the sea. But yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of being a public defender and just I feel like if you're a public defender though, you put up with a lot of shit. Like,
You put up with a lot of fucking retards.
yeah,
Interesting.
The kind of people who need a public defender.
it's
No offense, some of them are fine.
that's a noble path with
but
the
a
lawyer.
lot of them are fucking idiots.
I think that's a noble path though for like being a lawyer, but it's obviously not where the money's at. Like, you're not incentivized to fight against to be like the David against the Goliath. Like,
No.
yeah. And it just seems like a lot of the most famous lawyers are just like famous for getting off OJ, or like famous for like, getting someone basically.
Getting Weinstein out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So alternate universe is Gokanaru is a lawyer.
You're a journalist.
I'm a journalist. Well, no, I wouldn't get a journalism job. I'd do public relations for the government, probably.
Public relations for the government. Lawyer. What's your alternative universe?
There's no alternative universe for Tom.
I don't know that it ever was. I did go to school for journalism though. That's what I
Interesting.
went for.
Huh.
But yeah, it was pretty retarded.
Mhm.
Well, it was like journalism and media production. So like, it was like kind of adjacent to what I wanted to do because I like writing and I also like video stuff.
But
So
you do journalism.
I was about to
Do
say.
I?
Give us
Yeah, you're a journalist.
give us the horrible soundbite. Do you think you do journalism, Tom?
Maybe to an extent. Yeah.
Just say
I mean,
yes.
I do remember the journalistic principles when I'm doing my work sometimes. It's like, is the information important for the public to know?
Here's the hot take.
Are you reporting it accurately?
Here's the fucking hot take, okay? Most people who self-identify as journalists and they write like articles, which there are reputable people who do this and have swag and respect and all this, but the vast majority of it is like BuzzFeed. They like are literally just getting through the day. They don't really care what the fuck they're saying that much. They go on a vibe.
Well, because people don't read actual journalism.
Yeah.
They don't, like, it's not content that makes money. Like, the reality I was confronted with when I went to journalism school was, okay, so the video production stuff, the video production side, was, like...
TV, corporate.
Well, in my experience, it was, like, not even that. Like, the theory of it wasn't really there. I did have, like, a media theory class or media literacy class, which was, like, bullshit, but, it was actually probably the most interesting thing, even though it kind of sucked. But the, like... video production teaching was I would get to a class, and my class freshman year was like really late at night. It was like 7 p.m. to like 9:20 or something. It was like a long period. Mm-hmm. And the guy would show us YouTube tutorials about how to do Photoshop and then say, okay, now show me what you can do. And it'd be like, how to use the pan crop tool will be like one class.
Yeah.
And I was like, without being too pretentious, like I learned that when I was 14 from the YouTube tutorial he was showing me. Not the exact one, but like, this is all like stuff that you could easily learn. Like, I don't need Adobe Premiere Pro basics to be taught to me for $30,000 a year. Yeah. And then the writing stuff was like very there was like, in journalism there's kind of like two schools of people that exist. There's the sports journalism kids who were not good enough athletes to be athletes, but they like sports, so they want to report on sports, and those kids were fine. But then there's like the very like pretentious sort of libtard journalism side of things, which is like they would like show us documentaries about like Trump supporters and like how dumb they were, and like these people they'd be like, you have to be informed. These guys aren't even informed. And I'm not saying that Trump supporters are informed, but it was a very like condescending thing that I was experiencing. And I remember at some point in class I was like, we were watching some video of like Southern Trump voters. They were like old people, and they were like, we feel like, the liberal media doesn't really listen to us. They don't really believe in us. They don't even want to like give us sort of a time of day. And all the people in the class were like, yeah, why would anyone ever give them time of day? And I was like, well, you're just validating these people's opinions that like nobody gives a fuck about these flyover states or any of these people. Mm-hmm. And I just got the impression it was very pretentious. And then the thing that was really kind of a breaking point for me was when I realized how much money these people make in journalism, which is nothing.
Yeah.
Like my professors had to have like other jobs at like the TV station nearby, or like writing jobs, or like one of them had like a job as like a waiter at a restaurant while being like a PhD professor. And I was like, I remember having a conversation with one of my professors about like how much money people make, and they were like, yeah, the top end of any of these people, the most that one of them might be making is like $200,000 a year, which is good. But there's like 20 people in the country that make that much money doing it. Yeah. And so I was like, I don't want to like be grinding to do this for someone else, and like maybe I'll have a shot at making like enough money. And especially the worst part about it is you have to live usually in a certain place to be a journalist. You have to live in New York City.
Washington.
You have to live here, Washington.
Yeah.
And it's expensive to live there. So it's like, the starting salary after school is like $38,000 for some of these people. That dries up pretty quick. In New York City, you're going to be living on credit cards for a while. And I was like, this is just fucking bullshit. And the good part for me is that I had this out. I had a YouTube channel that had made some money. And I was like, what if I just do that? And I did it. And I guess it worked out.
Yeah. I feel like a big meta with that too is if you're going to go kind of the corporate journalist route, there's certain things you just can't say if you want to be making the 200K a year. You know what I mean? It's obviously it's not even that you can't say like crazy stuff because that's obvious, but at the same time it's like there are interests that you cannot collide with. You know what I mean? Because it's like you have like
it's like
producers and whatever.
Have you seen the show Newsroom?
Nah.
It's an HBO show.
Oh, wait. Yeah. It has the guy with Dumb and Dumber.
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
There's this arc when they start calling out the Koch brothers, and they're like, "Don't you know the Koch brother?" And like he has to like meet with like the CEO of the company, and she's like, "Don't you know the Koch brothers are like the reason why we exist? Like they fund our whole like station." And he was like, "Oh," and it was like kind of a very like sobering moment in the show when you realize that there are certain things you just can't point out and call out. And I'm not even saying that I would want to, but I am saying that like, you know, I wouldn't want to be beholden to like you can't say that thing, you can't do that thing, and that does exist on YouTube to an extent.
Totally,
for sure.
yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying that I even have any necessarily qualms long term about the fact that you can't do certain things on YouTube because I accept it. I accept it as part of my job. But it's a little more annoying when you can't even have the option to nuke your own career.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's like
I want the option to be Sneeko if I have to be.
Right. Yeah. It would be your choice. It's not like you say something and it's like, okay, goodbye.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, working for anyone's just fucking depressing. It was the same thing. Like, I was in a master's program I wanted to be a professor, and like I had the same experience. I was TAing for a professor who had a PhD, and she worked at the fucking mall as her second job. I'm like, fuck the. And the kid, I was like TAing 19-year-old kids who were all like, fucking just horrible people. They're like very, very stupid and ignorant and like impossible to fucking deal with, and so like woke and sensitive.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that's fucking annoying about, especially in some like college settings, is just the inability to grapple with the dark ideas or the controversial ideas or whatever. And when you don't like allow people to grapple with that, then yeah, you're gonna get the extremes like fucking Sneeko or whomever, where it's like they're just the people who dive headfirst in and just believe everything. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's not even being grappled with on any nuanced dimension.
The indoctrination meme also that Jordan Peterson talks about is real, by the way. I thought, you know, when I was going into college, I had heard him be like, stuff like the woke Marxists have infiltrated college. And I was like, okay, this seems fucking retarded. But then I went there, and one of my professors was a guy from China who was talking about how, like, maybe communism has some good ideas behind it. And I was like, the idea that he was exploring it wasn't upsetting, but but he was clearly, like, trying to, like, weasel his way into like getting communism in my mind as like something that I should be exploring and like a serious idea that I should be like implementing. And he was like explicitly shitting on capitalism, and all the other professors were kind of leaning towards that too, but weren't as explicit about it.
Interesting.
And I was just like, I don't know. I just like, maybe I would have been okay with it if I wasn't paying the money I was paying to be there, but I was paying a lot. My parents were paying half of it. I was paying the other half, and I was like, this fucking, like, I'm gonna get out of school and have like $100,000 in loans, and fucking make $40,000 a year for like 10 years and live in New York City and hang out with all these. Yeah, just hang out with all these fucking in New York. Like, I don't want to do that. So I don't know. I'm very thankful that I had an audience on YouTube at the time that I could rinse some fucking money out of, and it worked out.
Jesus Christ. I think there is like a bit of a dismissal culture on the right too. I feel like there is like a bit of a cancel culture that exists on the right, where it's like absolutely. We're not even gonna engage like I don't know.
Well, like lives with TikTok.
But I agree. So I don't know how journalism is categorized or whatever, but it's like, is it? Would you consider it like a liberal arts type degree, or what's the? Because
yeah, it would be liberal arts.
Yeah. So in my experience, it's like business school. I was not impressed, I guess, whatever, with my education.
I feel like if I had to go back to school, I would go for that, though.
Yeah. But at the same time, I could kind of expound on the dimensions that are disappointing about business school, because it's like, obviously, they're not teaching you how to run a business. That's actually not what's happening at all. They're teaching you to basically be like a management position, which means effectively managing people. Yes, like you learn finance, accounting, all this shit. But they don't even like question, obviously, like any kind of I guess preconceived notions. It's more like in business school, it's more like, yes, how can you basically fit within the existing fucking structure or whatever? How can you effectively, you know, maximize the benefits?
In fairness, it is hard to teach someone like entrepreneurship or something. Like, it's very like, I don't want to say it's an esoteric idea, but teaching like without just having like a one-on-one like mentor relationship, it seems very hard to me to teach someone how to be an entrepreneur. The thing that I would hope to get out of business school is how to fill out a fucking W-9, because I wasn't taught that.
And they don't teach that. But what I'll say is I I agree. It's like if you go to fucking film school or whatever, it's like you're not gonna learn how to make movies, right? You have to. Yeah, at the end of the day, you have to fuck up and do it, right?
No, that's what's so annoying. Whenever I try to find fucking editors, they always lead with their like CV and they went to film school. I'm like, you make shit. Like this is like the most boring fucking like you can edit shit together and you can do B-roll. Like I've learned all of this and more so fast by just making YouTube videos.
Yeah, I've gone through in my life probably 500 or more applications for people who wanted to edit for me. And it's at the point now where anybody who says they have like a film school qualification, I just ignore it because they don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
They don't know how to edit for YouTube. The most they know how to do is like cut together, like they know how to do like jump cuts.
Yeah.
And they know how to like add music on a Premiere track. But like editing, like especially like doing like After Effects stuff for like a video essay is or like doing like DaVinci Resolve, like the node based system with like putting visuals on screen and knowing how to do like computer animation is stuff that they generally don't teach you in school unless you go for computer animation. The people who go for that typically are not trying to work for YouTubers. They think they're going to work for Pixar and they're not, but they think they are.
Yeah. The best fucking resume if you're trying to work for a YouTuber is obviously just having videos. You know what I mean? Like having like like you can tell pretty quickly. Like okay, either this
just
guy
make your own videos in your channel, and like if there's something there, I can kind of work with it. But
so you went $100,000 into debt to get Tom to ignore your resume.
Basically, yeah, I do ignore resumes. Also, a lot of Indians applying, and not all of them are bad, but a lot of them use AI. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
A lot of them use AI for editing, and it doesn't look good.
Oh, that shit was fucking... I put out a fucking... I did this on Twitter. I should have done this on Twitter. I put out, like, asking for an editor. I got 50 DMs, and it was just, like, fucking clipped together Joe Rogan podcast bits with, like, font popping on screen. I'm like, this is your fucking application? You can use CapCut? Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
I've had multiple people who wanted to edit for me. I don't know if this is, like, a me thing or, like, other people who experience this, but they want to edit for me, and I'll be like, okay, so I want an editing test before you work for me. So it'll be like, okay, edit... Like here's like the script, here's like a minute of the script, here's like a minute of the audio, and I would like you to edit this together to see how it goes. And like 2 of them have been like, I just had a mental breakdown, I can't do it. Like after like a week, one person sent me a picture of him in the hospital bed with like a bracelet, as if I wouldn't believe that he had a mental breakdown to like prove that he was there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right.
What the fuck?
That tracks.
That's like, the biggest moment of their entire life is doing the Turkey Tom edit test, and they felt they can't do it.
But maybe that's how you know they're like a true artist if they're in the psych ward.
They're at it for 100 hours and lost their mind.
Would you agree though? YouTube is a bit of a gauntlet, like mentally or whatever you would say. It can be, at least. It's like it's a lot of dimensions that.
Depending on what you're doing, but if you're a video editor, I mean, it's just a job.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. Yeah,
There's a job.
There's
you don't
a certain
have to deal with like the public PR bullshit.
No, yeah, there's a certain safety, I guess, in the sense of like you're not the face of it. Yeah.
You can't spell Indian without AI.
It's true. Did you
Deep,
just come up
bro.
with that?
Yeah.
Did you actually?
I just thought about the word Indian. I was like, yeah.
AI.
They do use AI a lot. What's going on there? What's going on there?
I mean, I don't know. It's a way to
Nothing.
get things done fast or whatever. You get what you pay for. I feel like a lot of the time.
We did an internship for the studio very briefly. This was a disaster, but we tried getting an intern for the studio, and I think we put it on LinkedIn. That was like a little test. We got like 40 resumes. I think they were all from immigrants. And yeah, they were all terrible. Just like just people you wouldn't even want to have by for free.
It's because you guys live here. That's
yeah,
why.
probably.
Yeah.
Why America doesn't have immigrants, or they're just less eager? to
No,
make
just
use of
Toronto
it?
in particular. There's a lot of people desperate for jobs.
You can't spell a Chinese person without AI.
A Chinese person.
Yeah, you have to have the A in there.
Oh, yeah.
You've been thinking about this just while everyone's talking. You're like, how can I fit the AI into this?
Yeah, immigrant
AI.
groups.
You
plus
can spell
the word
American
AI.
without AI.
Yeah.
Americane.
Wait, you can't.
No.
Fuck.
I can't spell Canadian without AI either.
You can.
No, you can't.
Oh no, you can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were fucked.
Yeah.
It's pervasive. It's everywhere.
That's the metric. Can you fit the 2 of the most common vowels into a
Turkey
word?
Tom. You can't spell AI with Turkey Tom. There's no A and no I.
But you can with Bulgarian.
We need to get off
I don't
this
wanna think
topic.
about that.
How's
And
this?
Italian.
I agree.
How's that Zin doing for you?
Pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see if it takes a dark turn, but I feel pretty good right now.
Dark
I'm
Zin
kind of
turn?
chilling. No, sorry. I also have gum in my mouth.
Oh, you're
Keep me
max stimulation.
Yeah, gum's max stimulation.
When did
Anybody
you guys, Jreg, I've been watching you for a long time. When did you start doing it full time? When is it your thing?
2019.
2019. Had Centricide videos popped off by then?
No, I popped off from Political Compass Rap and this other video where I sort of allude to the idea of anti-centrism. And then from that, I just started doing skits with the characters, and then from those skits, I started doing Centricide after that.
Okay.
So like around 2020, probably.
At one point, you got me with there was something you did where you were like quitting YouTube.
Yeah.
And I believed it. I was like, man, that sucks. And then you tweeted at me. You were like, haha, I fucking own you, dude, because you came back.
I tweeted at you?
Yeah.
Not you.
It was at me. It was like I owned you.
No.
I swear you tweeted at me.
Pull it
like
up,
I owned
Jamie.
you.
Jamie, pull it
No.
up. Yeah,
Pull that up,
It would
Jamie.
probably be higher.
I seriously doubt. First of all,
I swear you quote tweeted me and were like, ha 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 ha.
no, I think at some point you must have done like I think you posted like I did 6 different political ideologies all at once, and you were like, life comes at you fast. I think that's when I became aware of you.
Yeah, maybe.
And that was after. That was like around 200.
Okay, I don't remember that. I used to post a lot of like memes for Twitter likes.
Yeah.
I used to post a lot of like some horror with like a Wojak like disgusted, and it would get like 10,000 likes. It'd be like girl with big tits is like I just fucked my dad, like obvious bait. And then I would post like a Wojak like ugh, get like 20,000 likes.
I feel like there's 2 simple metas for Twitter. It's either just post complete fucking idiocy or just fight people, basically, just constantly fight people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had good beef on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you guys had a little falling out.
You aired
had a
out
falling
your
out.
grievances. In
We're
public
still
forum.
on sort of shaky terms.
Yeah, it's true.
But you know, we've put our grievances aside.
What was the inception of this beef? That you guys
I
had?
wanted to get involved with YouTuber drama, and so Brogan decided to help me out by vague tweeting about me.
Yeah,
so we
then
could
you
get in
brought
drama.
Bad Empanada up, and now
then it started off as a bit, but now it's serious. We have some animosity.
yeah,
Yeah.
What does that guy do? Who is he?
Bad Empanada?
it's
Yeah.
Craig's mentor.
Yeah, he's my mentor. He's taught me everything I know. Gokanaru, pull that up. Pull up Bad Empanada.
I know the
Okay,
guy.
here's
We'll just
our
have him in the
Henry for
background
this
the whole
episode.
time. I love it.
Where the fuck is Safari?
That's what I was wondering, bro. I'm sorry, I'm not a Mac user.
Oh, sorry, I don't have. You have to go command space and then type in Safari. Command,
Command.
yeah, there and space and then type in Safari.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you hide it from yourself?
No, I just don't use Safari.
Okay,
And I'm gonna get some water.
go get some water. You quit streaming? Did you quit streaming, or are you like just backing away for a while?
I think I probably quit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I probably quit.
What was the reasoning behind that?
There's like 20. We can get into all of them.
Dude, let's unpack it, man.
I feel like I could talk about it for like 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Streaming is an interesting meta. I'll say that much. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Go on, dude.
I guess one thing to preface with it is that I'm not like a casual person with anything I do. Like when I do something, I have like a really weird. I just get addicted to things really easily. Like if I like something, I
commit to
really like it.
Yeah.
So like with the nicotine, like I was smoking like a pack of cigarettes a day, and then I quit, and then I do like one of these Zins a day, and now I'm getting up to like 1.5 containers or whatever. I gotta have something. I just
day?
gotta have something. Yeah.
Damn.
And with streaming, I started it, and in my mind, it was like, okay, this is a side thing. I'm just kind of doing it for fun. If I make some extra money, cool, but it is what it is. And very quickly for me, it became like, how can I maximize it to be the best I can possibly be at it and like do amazing at it? And I got pretty fucking good, not gonna lie. You know, I will say it is drama stuff. It is reacting to videos mostly. So it was a lot of just like, what'd this guy say? And I did have fun with it, but I like hired editors for it, and like we're posting like 2 clips a day. Well, at first I was posting 1 clip a day, and then I was like, okay, this is not growing fast enough. What if we did 2? And we did 2, and then it started taking off more and more. And then within like a couple months, I had like 100,000 subs on the stream channel, and we were doing like 6 million views a month on it, which is pretty good. But there's like a few issues with it that kind of became more and more apparent slowly over time. There are things that I knew would happen in my head that I told myself I knew would happen, but I kind of ignored it, I think, over time as the streaming benefits temporarily started to outweigh it. So like one big thing is parasocialness, like people constantly be included into like what you're thinking and like what do you think about this thing and like what's your take on this thing. And with a lot of things, as a human, I think it's normal to like not have a take. But when I'm streaming and I'm streaming for 8 hours, the idea is all of it's going to get clipped, right? So I'll have like a docket of like 7 or 8 things that I want to talk about, and I'll have it all laid out. So like, okay, let's watch this video, this video, this video, this video, talk about it. That all gets clipped into, you know, eight clips ideally from an 8-hour stream, all 1 hour long. Therefore, that's 2 hours of content a day. That's 4 days of clips. And it's a very like just talking about everything all the time. And there's a lot of shit I just kind of don't care about, and I can kind of make myself care about it in a sense when I'm streaming, because I mean, first of all, the money's good, and second of all, you know, I'm trying to provide a product, an entertainment product, so you can kind of make yourself care for a certain amount of time. But it gets to the point where I guess I just kind of stopped caring, and I knew that I wasn't caring anymore, and I was kind of phoning it in for a little bit. But there came kind of a breaking point when I was like, I don't care about this enough to keep doing it for the money I'm making. And I was making like, I mean, from streaming towards the end there, I was doing like 50 grand a month off streaming alone. Jeez. Which is pretty good.
Yeah, fuck.
But
pretty good. Yeah.
And so it's like, it's kind of not rational to be like, I don't want to stream anymore.
Yeah.
But that kind of gets into the other aspect of like the negatives, which is, you know, I do YouTube and I want to make money doing it. And I really like making money, and I like, you know, it's a good thing. But at the same time, I am a creative person. You know, I've always been very into music and drawing and writing and making the videos come together in a way where it's entertaining, and I feel like I'm good at that. And I feel like because my attention has been so divided, like I you know, last year I was running 4 channels at once. And I feel like none of them were as good as they could have been if I was just focused on one of them. I feel like it's very hard to have your attention divided like that. And even though I had other people helping me out, it's still like there has to be like a creative kind of voice, a vision, a direction that kind of pulls it all together. And because I was like streaming 3 days a week, plus I had my second channel where I was uploading a video every day, plus I had my main channel where I'm trying to post a video every week, plus I've got this IRL channel where I'm flying around at least a couple times a month. It just became like, I kind of realized like none of these things are as good as they could be if I was just focusing. None of these things are as good as they could be. I don't have the mental capacity, and I thought I did, but I don't. I don't have the mental capacity to do that many things at once. Maybe other people do. I'm envious if they do, but at least for the time being, I don't think I have the capacity to do it all at once. So none of them were as good as they could have been. I feel like the content wasn't where I wanted it to be on any of the channels, and I kind of realized, if I want to make any of these things good, which I do care about things being good, and in the long term also, whether or not I care about it being good, whether it is objectively good or not, or people like it, will start to weigh in terms of like the views you're getting and the attention you're getting and people's perception of your content and who you are online. I think that stuff will start to take hold, and it'll be like, you're just posting fucking slop. And you can post slop for a certain amount of time and get away with it. Certainly, and I did get away with it, and I'm okay with that. But at a certain point, it's like you're kind of just going to be another guy out there doing stuff. And you know, there's a lot of videos that I've made that I really care about and I'm proud of, and I feel like I've had less time to do that because I've been doing all of these channels, and I haven't really had the mental energy to do everything to the point where it could be something special. And so I guess that's a big part of it. Another part of it is so, you know, there's obviously a very finite amount of time we have to do things. And I have been unable to like learn new skills and improve at things because I've been streaming and because I've been doing so many channels. So it's like, you know, how am I going to get better at video editing, and how am I going to care about getting better at video editing when I'm spending 30 hours out of my waking hours a week watching other people's fucking videos and reacting to them and saying like my piece on them? Like, I might get better at streaming, but I'm not going to be as good at streaming as if I was doing it full time. And I might get a little better at other things, but I'm not going to be as good at them as I could be if I was focusing on them. So that's definitely part of it. Just like, I feel like a big lack of personal character growth and skill growth has happened as a result of streaming. I feel like I've been unable to like grow as a person. And, you know, I think it's something that people kind of take for granted when you haven't streamed. You know, people who watch streamers, they're like, streamers seem so miserable, right? And I'm not depressed. I'm not a depressive person, but I think there is something to be said about how, you know, I was like, when I was streaming so much, I was like, I feel like I'm not really growing here. I feel like nothing's really happening. I feel like I'm just kind of screaming into the void, and like I'm making money, but that's about it. I'm not really growing anything as a person, as an artist, as a creator, and I would like to do that. And then I look at all these streamers and I listen to them talk about streaming. And most of the biggest streamers in the world, when they are asked about it, are fucking miserable. I mean, there's a Hassan meme about socially draining, right? Which obviously was very controversial because of the way he put it, but there is something to that.
Yeah.
And then
absolutely.
you've got Mizkif, who is one of the biggest streamers of all time and is a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And then you've got, I mean, Destiny. I don't think seems particularly happy. You know, he says he is. I don't think he is. And I don't. You know, if he does think he's happy, I don't know that he's aware of maybe how things could have been if he wasn't streaming so much.
Well, the big thing about streaming, I feel like, is like if you want to take streaming, if you want to take it to the next level, if you want to be a big streamer, established, continue making as much money as you can, it literally needs to be the center of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and the other big thing with streaming is you have to put the time in. Like, you just have to be live. People need to get used to you being background noise. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like another big thing is, the force to have a take is tough sometimes, because it's like, a lot of times it's like, I would want to watch a video off stream, right? And like process it, think about it, really like I remember, especially, it depends how serious the situation is, right? So like, if you can like listen to a video, go for a walk, go to the gym, whatever, like kind of let it stew in your mind, you're going to have a more coherent take, right? But when you're reacting to it on stream and you're trying to react to 8 things that day, you kind of, like, you have to say something, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's either pretty much vapid, like, reaction, where it's like, this isn't that deep. My opinion's not that deep. I'm more just reporting it, which is a bit different than, like, having an opinion. Or you have an opinion almost instantly, and in ways that can be reckless depending on the topic, because it's like, this is pretty serious. And if it's mishandled, or if I have some nuclear take, it's going to reflect poorly on me.
And I was getting big enough and good enough at it to the point where, like, I kind of saw, like, a fork in the road where, like, either I'm going to keep going down this path where, like, streaming slowly becomes, like, the focus of my life and what I am and what I'm doing, or I need to, like, change things around and, like, be a video guy, or, like, be, I don't know, like, quote-unquote an artist, like, as gay as that sounds. And I kind of decided, I was like, in 10 years, I don't really want to be known for streaming. Like, I don't really want to be the streamer guy. And I've done it for a short enough amount of time that I think I can kind of escape it without it being everything that I am. And I was just like, I don't like, in 10 years, do I want to be like looking back at the last 10 years and thinking like, what did I do in the past 10 years? Well, I streamed a lot.
Yeah.
I streamed a lot.
There's thousands of hours of me out there that you can consume forever pretty well. Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, the thousands of hours thing isn't even it, but it's like, how do I want to spend those hours? Like, you know, do I when I'm 30, do I want to look back and be like, wow, I was a great streamer?
Yeah. Another big thing is,
and it's okay if there's people who want to do that, to be clear, but I just don't think that's what I want to do.
The impermanence of that content is a very real thing as well, where it's like, you might feel like you covered a situation really well, or like you made very good videos around something, but these, like, nobody cares in a week. You know what I mean? It's like, these don't last, right? Like, you can't point to that.
And how well can you really cover it when all you're doing is like sitting on stream reacting?
Yeah. It's like, that's a big thing. I wonder, how do you feel about the, okay, so I perceived something interesting, I think, which is that there was a big gap, I guess, in covering drama, but like, we're using the word drama, but the dramaverse, I guess, started to, take a much more serious tone when it came to, like, allegations, okay? And it's like, now we're talking about not just like potential criminal things, right? But it's like, these are serious things that impact the people involved. Like, you know, you could get to a situation where like a victim gets harassed or things like this. And it's like, the streaming meta does not incentivize taking it that seriously, although it does, okay, because it long-term consequences. But in the short term, it's like, you just kind of need to report it. And if you can report it in like a really exciting way as well, to like stand out from the competition, you know what I mean? You can basically just pigeonhole yourself, where it's like, okay, so like, these people will never talk to me because I covered this, or sometimes because of something I said covering this, you know what I mean?
That's part of it also, is like, when you're streaming, it's like either some guy's acting retarded or someone got raped. Like, those are like the two things like I was like talking about. And I was like,
and it's
I don't really want to talk about people getting raped anymore, and I'm kind of getting sick of just looking at these like soy boy leftists being like, this guy did a retarded thing again. And like, that's not to say that I would never go back to it or do streams again, but as of now, my desire to do it like is just so fucking low.
There's something interesting, okay? So there's this meta I saw, which is basically that there is a fuckload of channels, and it makes sense because you want to standardize your content. One of the easiest ways is to report on the newest thing, right? Like, that's a way to get reliable income, is just like whatever's fresh, right? But you get to this point where people meme on slop content, and it's like there is a ton of channels where it's like, you know, upwards of 500K subs, and they're basically doing effectively slop content. Like they're covering kind of low stakes drama, like whatever the fuck, pirate software. Like at the end of the day, what's that guy's crime? Like, yeah, he's a bit, I guess, egotistical or whatever. Like he's a little bit up his own ass, all this shit. And you'll see a lot of people will take on those topics, but then there'll be, I guess, a market. I guess it's weird to put it like this, but it's true. It's like there's a market that exists for the serious stuff that people start to occupy, right? Like that kind of was the meta that was not existing with the biggest slop channels. And so you grow your channel covering the most serious shit. And it's like at the end of the day, there's two paths that can kind of take. It's like, do you take this shit seriously and you allow it to weigh on your mind? You're like, holy fuck, dude, I'm actually like reporting very serious circumstances.
Yeah.
Or do you treat it like a joke? Like you treat it like, okay, this is just the daily slop, like whatever. But you are talking about serious shit.
And I think it's fine if people want to do that. Like, to be clear, like I've watched a lot of that content and enjoyed it. But I just like don't, I guess I feel like there's no like way that I can change the way that I do it now with like streaming or like the quote unquote slop to like make it better. Like, and I feel like it's not gonna like once again, it sounds pretentious. I think it sounds pretentious, and it makes sense that it would sound pretentious to people, but I don't really care or want to like make that kind of thing anymore. I just don't. I miss making video essays. I miss video editing, and I've been video editing a lot over the past couple of weeks, and I've had a lot of fun with it. I miss I guess making longer planned out videos that I can think about, like how a joke is gonna play out or like how funny it's gonna be. I miss that, and so that's ultimately why I decided to kind of take a step back and I guess if anybody who was watching the streams is hearing this for the first time, because I never made any statement about it, that was intentional, by the way, too, because I don't like to explain myself, but I'm doing it here now, I guess. But yeah, the thing that got me on YouTube in the first place was my main channel, and I kind of miss it. I feel like I've been letting it kind of slack, and in the past couple of weeks I've put out some videos that I'm really happy with, and we've got a lot of good stuff coming. So yeah, I think that probably summarizes the majority of it. There's probably other stuff I could get into, but yeah, those are the main.
Streaming is points. A degenerate lifestyle. It's everyone who streams. I noticed the same things about them. I've met lots of streamers. I'll never forget talking to Vosh, and we were doing something, and I was like, "What are you gonna do afterwards?" And he was like, "Oh, I need to go back to streaming because there's no social experience like it." You know, same thing with Destiny. I just noticed the same thing with all these streamers that I meet. It's you're more streamed than man after a certain point when you're streaming more hours online than you are offline. You're more of like you're more online. You're more fed into the machine than you are an actual human being.
Yeah, it's very cyborg stuff. Well, I noticed myself becoming like more sociopathic and more nihilistic for sure through streaming.
Desensitized for sure.
How
that
so?
happens,
Yeah, how so?
Well, like for example, like one guy whose videos I like a lot is Gerbert Johnson.
Yeah,
I like Gerbert Johnson. And I had been watching one of his videos on stream, and I remember watching it, and then afterwards I was like, what did I actually say about this video? So I watched it back, and I kind of disagree with the majority of what I said about his video. I was being very like reductive towards it. I was being very condescending. I was being very like, none of this matters. And I think, you know, if you're a guy who just like streams all day, it's very easy for like nothing to matter, or like very human experiences to not matter, because to me, the thing that I'm doing all day is I'm streaming, watching videos on YouTube, being like, well, this just doesn't fucking matter, right? Yeah. And I really like Gerbert Johnson's videos, and I feel kind of bad about having a very reductive take about his stuff. And I didn't even get pushback for it. Like the audience agreed, but I don't really agree with the way that it was done looking back. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just not, for me at least, it's not conducive to putting out stuff that I want to put out.
We're getting Gerby by the studio.
Yeah, he said he'd come by.
Gerb by the studio.
Hell yeah,
Gerby.
We're in touch.
Yeah,
We'll be here soon.
No, I agree. Even like I try to stream twice a week, and I just do it for the extra income, because it's like,
yeah, same.
I'm at the point like I have to have my fingers in like 10 pies to make a living off YouTube. Mm-hmm. If I just did like one thing, I wouldn't be able to do it. And so I have to stream, and it's like, yeah, I'll like by the fucking end of the 4 hours, I do like 8 hours a week, and I'm just like a dick. Yeah. I just start yelling, and then I'm like angry, and then like Jane was on my stream last night, and she's like, "Why are you so angry?" I'm like, I don't know. This is just what it does to you.
Well, that's what makes good content too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You're incentivized to have a reaction,
because it's boring if you're sitting around just being like, yeah, I don't know,
whatever. I'm just, anything I watch, I'm like, fuck that guy, retard, probably fucking kills himself. Fuck yeah, I just get like aggressive.
Yeah,
It bleeds over. You can't like wear that mask.
Yeah, there's definitely a cynicism that comes in for sure, and I think there's also a meta of like you always yes you always have to have a reaction, whatever, but it's also like you kind of you have to get into fights, like you kind of do, right? Like you kind of need to maybe you don't, whatever, but like if you, especially in the drama world, it's like you kind of have to pick a side at certain points, you know what I mean? You are incentivized at least to pick a side, because it's like, okay, if you're being too kind of, if you're trying to unpack something too much, it's like, okay, this is boring, first of all, but second of all, it's like, why the fuck are you like, you know, why are you giving pushback to this narrative that's popular right now? Yeah, there's waves in streaming. I don't know how you feel about the meta of streaming, where it's like, because there's the clipping, right? Like and you tell me, I don't know exactly.
When you say clipping, do you mean like clip farming, or do you mean like posting a clip on your YouTube?
So I mean posting clips to your YouTube, that's one meta of streaming. It's like I'm making content that will be uploaded later.
Yeah.
But there's also the aspect of like the live experience and actually having like 1,000 people watching you concurrently, right? And so I don't know what your tactics were for gaining this regular audience, but in my head it's like, okay, you have to be consistent, and you also streaming a lot of the times, especially in the Hassanverse, the fucking little awareness I have of it, it's so clear that a lot of it is coattail riding. You know what I mean? It's like you become ingratiated into other streamers' ecosystems. You can't shit talk to people who their audiences overlap a fuckload without getting a ton of pushback and like hate, whatever. I feel like, streaming, there is a lot of social climbing that's just baked in. Like it just is a natural thing.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, in fairness, that exists more on Twitch than YouTube, because on YouTube, people are more insulated. And on YouTube, there's not like hosting or whatever.
Hosting, you're right. Yeah,
you can like raid
now.
someone, but that's like kind of not the same.
That is a meta that exists though, right? Like if you get raided by a YouTuber or whatever. Like,
yeah, but it's not like on Twitch, it's like super social climbing. Like there's people who exist on Twitch who are popular just because they're friends with another guy.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many of them. On YouTube, I don't think that exists as much. Like I don't think you get as much direct benefit.
Okay.
Because Twitch is also so insular with its just streams.
Yes, that's true.
YouTube has like so much different. Like you have like shorts, you have like videos, and like streaming is really like a side project thing that's like over here.
Yeah, and Twitch streamers are always trying to funnel their YouTube viewers onto Twitch, right? So they're like taking them off platform. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And then Twitch only operates from having massive creators, like YouTube, right? So like if there's a Mr. Beast video with 300 million views, I feel like YouTube, it makes no difference if those 300 million views are one video or 300 videos with 1 million views, right? But Twitch needs massive creators that people are coming to watch. That's why like they protect Hassan.
It's so much
100%.
smaller.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, that is definitely.
If Twitch lost their 10 top streamers today, they would be like super fucked.
Yeah, like if Hassan was on YouTube, I feel like he would have been kicked off like last year.
No, maybe, but I think, okay, I have I guess controversial take, but YouTube would accept Hassan, no doubt. No doubt YouTube would host Hassan. In my head, absolutely no doubt, because they're also game players, and they understand, if Twitch is going to get rid of one of their top...
YouTube has been less aggressive with censorship in general over the past couple years.
I view that as just complete market strategy, more or less complete, because it's like, before, I remember when Sneeko got banned, there's something interesting that happened, which is like, Kick suddenly, right? Because Aiden Ross got banned and a lot of gamblers got banned on Twitch.
Yeah.
Which I was very surprised by. Like Twitch definitely they severed a decent amount of their octopus legs or whatever by cutting off the gambling stuff. Why was it so rampant? And let's be clear, like I think everyone acknowledges like kids were watching gambling content. That was what it was. Yeah. Like it was hard to deny that. Here's the thing though, there's so much meta-analysis that I did about this. Twitch also partnered with official gambling sites. Does that make sense? Like MGM, I think, also like...
They partner with DraftKings.
With DraftKings, but also it's like I think Amazon MGM now or something.
Also, by the way, what a fucked up thing, DraftKings mixing beer with gambling.
No, yeah.
It's like their whole marketing.
No, for sure, yeah, but it's because there's market incentives there, bro, 100%. And everyone says like if Hassan went on YouTube, he would get banned, but it's like, dude, there's so many people on YouTube who say crazy shit, and lately they have not gotten banned or
I don't know if he would be banned, but I think the real point to make is that if YouTube did ban Hassan, they wouldn't shed a tear about it.
Okay.
Like they wouldn't suffer for it.
But
YouTube doesn't need Hassan. Twitch needs Hassan.
No, I agree with you, but they would absolutely host Hassan.
Yes,
because where else would he go? Like,
but if like half the public pressure that Twitch is getting came to YouTube, I think they would probably ban Hassan. Because YouTube doesn't need one guy. They don't need They could ban Mr. Beast tomorrow, not that they would, but they could ban him, and financially they would be okay.
You think that?
Yes.
For real?
Yes.
Okay. Because
YouTube is so... Dude,
I have a counterpoint, but
okay,
go on.
YouTube is so fucking big compared to Twitch. YouTube is such a massive company with so much revenue.
And they're more rational, though. That's the thing.
But like what I'm saying is like they can lose Mr. Beast making them, I don't know, $50 million a year. And
more than that, probably. But yeah, I don't think...
Like financially, it'll drop in the bucket.
Here's what I would say. Okay, so you tell me, why wasn't Sniper Wolf banned off of YouTube? She should have been, right? On paper, she showed up to Jack's Film's fucking house.
YouTube also doesn't like, they don't like conflict is the thing. That's why they told
I agree with that.
And like the backlash that they would get, like imagine like the shitstorm that would happen even if they did ban her, but it'd be like YouTube bans massive 23 million subscriber channel Sniper Wolf.
Okay.
I don't think they like that static. I don't think they like people hearing like, oh, they had
But
to
why
ban
wouldn't they
someone.
like it?
Why wouldn't they like it? Because it's a controversial thing that happened on YouTube.
But why is it controversial? Because a creator that makes them a fuck ton of money and is using their advertising and does help them with like their relative leverage, they like basically I think it's more of a PR thing than like directly like Sniper Wolf gives them money. And a part of that is the rational component. Like what does YouTube do nowadays? What do they do if you are a controversial fuck and you basically like everyone's shitting on you? What do they do now? I've observed this again, and it's like they demonetize you. That's the way that they handle it. Because they started banning people outright, and where do they go? They go to the alternative platforms, which does increase the alternative platforms.
Yeah, like Fresh and Fit, they demonetized.
Fresh and Fit got demonetized, and they've done some crazy shit.
Fresh and Fit back around like the time Alex Jones got banned, I think would have been done.
Yeah, 100%. And it's interesting because it's not just that. It's even if Dr. Disrespect. YouTube hosted Dr. Disrespect, even though they knew there was smoke. It's, from what I'm aware, it seems pretty obvious that they understood there was some weird smoke or whatever surrounding Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah.
And what did they do? They fucking demonetized him for 6 months only when it was publicly basically like a controversy.
Because it's a PR thing.
It's a PR thing, yeah, but it's also just the way that they keep the person on their platform is they demonetize it. They're like, okay, he's not making money, and now you tell me if I'm wrong.
Cool down for a while.
Cool down, and the dramas died down, and Dr. Disrespect gets reinstated for monetization 6 months later.
Was Sneeko like the last hard ban that was high profile? That I feel like that's the last one I remember.
Sneeko, Tate, that was the last ones that really kind of were a swan song in my head. Yeah.
Was that like 2021?
Yeah, they did ban, I think, some creators for the Russiagate shit. Not Tim Pool. Why not Tim Pool? I wonder. I don't know. Because I guess in a certain sense he is safer. But
who did they ban?
They banned, I believe. So Lauren Southern, I think, got some kind of like a fucking like a.
I think they only hard banned the actual like Russians.
Yeah.
Oh, the Tenet Media, and then Lauren.
Chen.
Yeah, Lauren Chen.
But I think they only banned the Russians. I don't think they would ban like a YouTuber, but they banned like the state actors.
Right, but they certainly weren't happy about it, I think, and they perceived that could have probably mounted in a lot of ways. Anyway, the point that I'm getting at is that they already host Hassan. You know what I mean? Like they already hosted.
Hassan's on YouTube.
Yes, he's on. Yeah, he's on YouTube, and there's people more extreme than Hassan who are hosted on YouTube. And yes, I agree that if the public backlash gets bad enough, they will take action. But it's not because of any kind of principle. It's because of the rationality of like, oh yeah, this could cause like some decent amount of damage.
They're a business,
and yeah,
they don't want to close off the door to the schizo right wingers in the future.
Yeah.
They could come back and make them a bunch of money.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like that's where Google's like all the tech people are aligning themselves with that right now, anyways.
Well, because Trump's in office.
Yeah.
That's an interesting.
Google removed. Like
all the LGBTQ fucking
off their Google Calendar.
Yeah, and that I think is another just like beautiful
sign. It's a sign of the times. It's like Zuck sucking off Trump recently.
Dude, that's so transparent. I fucking love how blatant the facade is, man. Because
at least with Zuck, people realize it.
Yeah, I agree. But no, that's absolutely a very real component where it's like you have these rational actors. And I agree that Twitch is weird, bro. Twitch is an irrational actor in a lot of ways. And I do think it's because they're insulated by Amazon, if that makes sense. Like they can have employees who are very sympathetic to certain fucking things. But the reality is Twitch severs the fucking the gambling thing, and guaranteed that did a massive blow to them. Obviously Kick exists now, and that is like a competitor.
Losing Train and those guys definitely.
Train, yeah. And they from what I've seen, they kind of double down on like, yeah, not safe for work type shit. You know what I mean? Like they kind of doubled. And Patreon's done this too. Like I don't know. I've done too much fucking meta analysis of this shit, but I view them usually these platforms are very cynical. And when I say cynical, I just mean rational. They're gonna do what is in their long-term interest. They have like strategists. They have people who kind of damage control fucking some of the best in the world who are trying to understand the long-term impact. And yeah, at the end of the day, a guy like Hassan, absolutely, I agree that he totally gets unfair fucking like benefits by being a face of Twitch. Yes, and it's similar. I'll bring it back to Sniper Wolf. It's similar to Sniper Wolf because she is a good face to normies. You know what I mean? Like the vast majority of fucking people who use YouTube, it's like, oh, cute girl who is reacting to funny moments. It doesn't matter that she's stealing content because the people she's stealing content from have no fucking relative power. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck are they gonna do? Sue her? No. Right? And if they do, she'll just probably cut it from the fucking video. Nerd City obviously has done a ton of, analyzing of the weird transgressions of Sniper Wolf. But the reason at the end of the day is because, yeah, people definitely took a look and they were like, in the long term, I don't like this woman being on the platform.
The interesting thing about her was, I don't know if it was in the Nerd City video or Jackson's video, but there was something where someone had gotten their content used by Sniper Wolf, right?
Yeah.
And they had filed a claim against her,
mm-hmm.
but somehow the video content was cut before the claim went through.
Mm-hmm.
So the claim was kind of null and void because the content was already gone. Like she had managed to use YouTube editor, and the speculation was that someone from YouTube had told her, like, hey, this claim looks like it's coming in. Before you get it, maybe you should cut that part out of your content so you don't face some kind of copyright issue.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore as far as Sniper Wolf goes. I don't know if you're looking for visuals.
Did she do
we could pull up.
OnlyFans?
We could pull up
No.
Nerd
No?
Cities.
That's surprising.
She didn't do OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I talked to this guy on Twitter who's trying to set up a royalty system for YouTubers. So you know Zachary Schmiegel?
Yeah, that's he fast food videos or whatever.
Yeah, he made a video, and then a day later, Osmond Gold uploaded like a clip reacting to it, and it got twice the views of the original video.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that happens like thousands of times, right? But it's just like there should be something in place where it's like it's not all the income, but like at least 30% of the income from that video should go to the original. Like
if you react to it, you mean?
Yeah, like I don't mind reacting, and I think that's like a totally fine ecosystem to exist, but there should be something for if you're gonna like have that astronomical of a difference, right?
What I always thought would be cool was like a royalty system, and music companies can make a lot of money off of this. I assume it's hard to get permission from all the artists, but if labels would license out their music, where like I think you guys have probably had the experience where like, oh, I really want to use this copyrighted song, but if I use it, I'm gonna have all the revenue taken.
Yeah.
If there was a system where you
100%.
could pay like $20 to like license the song for your video.
Yeah.
So like they get some percentage of the revenue if the video happens to blow up, but you can still get to use the song. I think I would use that all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree,
same.
and I do think there is some movement on this, and it's very slow. And
There's
I think
some company that does it, but they don't. I mean, they don't have like Taylor Swift or anything.
do you know why in my opinion, but do you have a speculation as to why it is that YouTube doesn't kind of fast track that? Like why they don't try to make it more, I guess, equitable or fair, whatever, to creators?
Well, music companies don't want it to happen.
It's because they
music companies make a ton of money from YouTube.
Yeah, you fucking
How
nailed it.
does it work with TikTok? How come TikTok you can use whatever song you want?
I think you just don't make money.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah,
I think you
the
just don't make money.
The monetization on TikTok is brutal, from what I've heard. I've never really used TikTok seriously,
I don't know.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like in my head, it is just relative power. It's like a music company will sue. They will leverage the law in whatever states. They might even set precedents by fighting fucking creators. And YouTube, they do kind of want to operate in the gray area where it's like we'll still host these mainstream artists. Like you've classic meme, by the way, rest in peace Susan Washkiki. But Juice WRLD, rest in peace Juice WRLD. Jeez. But anyway, you remember the famous clip where Susan goes,
Shouldn't have given him that Zin.
What
Bro,
does Juice WRLD have to do with anything?
No. It's because this is a famous clip. I'm sorry. I'm just a nerd about this shit, okay? My bad. But the big thing is that there was a famous fucking clip where Susan meets Juice WRLD, right? And Susan's instantly like kind of ingratiating herself to her, and she's like, yeah, we're going to get your numbers up on YouTube, you know what I mean? And you do see this. Music videos, they don't get age restricted, and they show fucking brutal shit. Like, I'm not just talking violence or whatever. That's just par for the course. But like nudity, you know what I mean? Like all these things. Why does YouTube kind of give total...
Do you remember when Ludwig interviewed her?
Yeah, dude. Yes, I do remember that.
She, like, didn't ask a
Ludwig
single
is
fucking question.
Ludwig
is the hegemony.
Dude, he's an interesting player because he's like, as far as like the YouTube platform goes, he is like the status quo guy where he's just trying to...
The thing about him is he understands that he can't piss off certain people.
Yep.
There's this House of Cards quote when
I love that
fucking
show.
Frank, what's his name?
Frank Underwood.
Frank Underwood. He looks to the camera. He's like, "Are you mad at me? You should be. The path to power is paved with hypocrisy."
Mm-hmm.
And it's true, which is that, like, you know, XQC has even said this about Ludwig, where, like, Ludwig won't say a thing or, like, call out someone or, like, represent a situation accurately if he knows that it will piss off the wrong people.
Yeah.
Or the right people, some would say.
That was something that
because he wants to keep climbing that ladder.
Correct. I think you pointed that out very correctly. I remember you made the Ludwig video, basically, and that was just facts. Like, Ludwig is... It's not just that he's a people pleaser, it's that he is rational. He's trying not to sever the fucking cords of, like, not just his own audience, but, like, his potential, you know, like, what he's trying to do, which is basically stay kind of at the top, kind of mainstream accepted.
At a certain point, people do start to realize it and get pissed off, but, you know, he's going to keep doing it.
That's you know, the average viewer doesn't really get invested in that shit. And, dude, there's so many people, a lot of the most, I guess it sounds like I'm saying it in a derogatory way, but just a lot of the most normal people that I know watch Mogul Mail, and that's the way that they interface with drama.
Yeah.
That's and it's true. Like, the guy, he does like fucking angle to protect his, not just his friends, but also his interests. He interviewed, you mentioned Susan, the interview with him, and
He interviewed the new guy.
He interviewed the new fucking CEO of YouTube, and he also didn't push back very hard at all, really. And again, a part of that is, like, he understands the meta. Like, YouTube, they're not, because everyone always tries to label them as evil, right? It's like any corporation's evil. It's like, no, the real thing is just that they're rational. Like, they understand fucking interests. They understand that, you know, especially the CEO can't confront too much. And it's like Ludwig, when he talked to the fucking Susan, the one question I think that wasn't pre-approved was like, you want look at this NFT, look at this like dick butt NFT that I fucking made. Can you buy this dick butt NFT, Susan?
Yeah, epic.
Anyway, yeah, sorry, but
everyone in this video is dead, by the way.
Oh fuck!
It's Susan Wojcicki, her son, and Juice WRLD.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab some water real quick.
They all got suicided.
Get it?
I'm outlasting you boys with the water intake, dude. Holy shit! It's the gum meta.
I mean, it's sort of like, you know, everything now is made. There's such a shift between, like, orthodox business advice, where everything now is made without a target audience in mind. Because of algorithms, your target audience is everybody, right? This is like how Mr. Beast operates. Mr. Beast doesn't make things for, he's not like, oh, my is like young men or something like that, you know, or India, you know, it's totally just everybody. The Jerry Saltz, like, this New York art critic, has this cool quote where he's like, the shift from chronological following social media feeds to algorithmic social media feeds is the biggest single change that's ever happened to our culture. And we don't really realize it, but that shift is what created, like, this, I don't know if you call it, like, slop vacation, or like where everything looks the exact same, because it's like there's one thing that works. It's the lowest common denominator of creation. Like, how many YouTube
But at
videos...
the same time, you can also kind of make anything and it will find an audience.
Yeah, but then you
like,
could
don't, like, Mr. Beast exists, but also, like, a lot of, like, weird, like, I don't know what the word for it would be, but, like, weird shit that, like, you just never would have thought would be popular like 10 years ago is, like, relatively popular now, because you can find an audience with the algorithm.
The meta in my head is like the niche meta. Like, you can succeed almost in any niche as long as you commit to it, but then obviously you get audience captured. Like, a guy who fucking whittles wood can't weigh in on drama usually, unless it's like, whittling wood drama.
I mean, more than that, just, like, look at, like, channels like Company Man. Like, who would have thought that, like, a guy that makes video essays about, like, the downfall of Chuck E. Cheese would be popular on YouTube right now?
True.
But he has, like, 1 million subscribers. So, like, you
Defunct
can,
Land.
Yeah,
you can kind of make videos about whatever you want, and, like, you can find that audience. Now, there are certain things that there may not be any audience for, but if there is an audience, you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest example that comes to my head is like Brody TV. Like, you were telling me his channel just got demonetized, and it's like, that makes perfect sense to me completely. Like, you can host it on YouTube. YouTube will host that content. They want people to stay on their fucking platform, but you will not be able to become like certainly not homepage. You know what I mean?
No.
I do think that the people who get homepage approval, that is like an internal decision that they're like, okay, this person has a good track record.
Well, it's more like the trending tab now, right? Because your homepage is customized.
Well, yeah.
You mean a homepage if you go on with, like, an incognito account?
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think most people go in without an established like YouTube account or whatever. Like, they don't. I don't know what the stats are, but I don't think most people even have fucking YouTube accounts. Maybe they have their Google account.
Yeah, I mean, that's why most people are like, only 45% of my viewers are subscribed to me.
Yeah.
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 But there is an audience of people who are tapped in and will watch whatever you make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is the thing. They do exist.
Yeah.
It's true. It just seems like
Would you have thought 10 years ago that a video called the Hawk-tuification of the internet would be like getting any attention?
No, that is insane.
No, I do. I have my small loyal audience, but it does seem like I mean, like JJ talks about this a lot. I feel like we all do. It seems like the way YouTube used to work like 10 years ago is dead. Where like you don't have, like, if you have 1 million subscribers, you don't have a 1 million person audience. But I feel like you used to. Like when people were looking at their subscriptions tab and they're like, oh, you know, everything you release, you can like at least guarantee that many people are going to watch it, or like close to that number. But now like you could have 2 million subscribers and no one watches.
Well,
your
the thing
shit.
is, there's just more competition now.
Yep.
There's just more people trying. Like there are people who have that. Like H Bomber guy, he posts very infrequently. When he does post, I would bet that like 70% of the people subscribe to him click in and are watching.
Yeah.
He's a homepage creator.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like there are people who have like these audiences where like they will get like a comparable amount of views to their sub count.
Yeah.
But the problem also is like 10 years ago, most YouTube channels are relatively young. Like now you've got YouTube channels like PewDiePie with like 100 million subscribers. Like it's almost impossible to hold 100 million people's attention unless you're basically killing yourself. For that long.
Yeah, that's like the Mr. Beastification. Fucking shout out Pinely. But like, yeah, like that meta, it's not just that Mr. Beast was an innovator, it's that he adapted to what was expected of having a mass fucking audience. And it's like, here's the stem, here's like fucking like, $100 million super yacht or whatever that Mr. Beast clearly doesn't really care about. Like he goes on interviews and talks about how it's like, yeah, this is boring, whatever. And it's cool that Mr. Beast is like constantly trying to bring more narrative into his thing, and they still are. There's comedy.
But this whole like conversation about like quote unquote slop on YouTube, I feel like is so reductive because like, yeah, the slop exists, but there's always been in every medium, like music, movies, TV shows that are like they're not like high art, they're not like great, but they're just entertainment that people watch. There's always been TMZ, there's always been stuff like that. But there's also, you know, in the movie world, there's also movies that make it very mainstream. Like one of my favorite directors is David Fincher. His movies are very usually financially successful. People watch them, but they're also, I would say, like they're very artsy. They're weird. They deal with like strange themes of like isolation and loneliness and you know, crazy people and serial killers, and they're all pretty fucked up.
Rest in peace, Mindhunter.
Most of them
bro.
don't make you feel good towards the end.
Rest in peace, Mindhunter.
True.
And it's like, yeah, a lot, and
but
a
like
lot,
both of these things do exist. Like Transformers 1 came out like the same year as like the first Social Network. These things can exist.
Yeah, but yeah,
Parallel.
It's here, the in my head, whatever. It's like, okay, there's the balancing act, and it's difficult to fucking manage. But it's like, how can you standardize your content so that you can reliably get long-term fucking income and whatever, and like long-term growth as well. But then there's also the fucking aspect of how can you actually like innovate, keep ahead of the curve. And I do think like bring it back a little bit, live streaming content. It's like a lot of times, yes, you're chasing the standardized, like whatever the fuck people are talking about. I'm talking about it now. Versus, yeah, The Social Network, dope movie, an excellent fucking beautiful movie. Fight Club, still talking about it, all this shit. And it's like,
well, that's always like, I'm sure you guys have this with YouTube.
Fight Club is a bomb.
What can I do that's for me versus what can I do that's like gonna bring people to me?
Yeah, 100%. That's the way you got to look at it. That's totally the way you got to look at it.
Yeah. I think
one for me, one for them.
Yeah.
I one thing that's funny about the streaming meta is if you really want to get popular now, because of there is so much competition. That's just a fact. And if you want to stand out, you need to be outrageous. And there's like consequences to that, obviously, a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, like the clip farming thing with like Lacey and all those guys. Just,
okay,
like,
yeah.
Screaming at the top of your lungs or acting like a freak.
Lacey, I fell for one of his bait tactics. It was actually a really interesting.
Which one?
So when the Twitch adpocalypse, or that is, I guess, currently happening, people are trying to make happen, whatever. But like when it first happened and the revenue of people was going down, Lacey had this insane fucking quote where he was like, "If I wanted to make $5,000 a week or whatever, I would become a fucking mailman," right?
And I love that one. That one's good.
It's amazing.
I remember Cabo fell for that bait and was like, "This guy's such a fucking idiot," and I was like, "It's Lacey."
No, but it's beautiful because if you watch that clip in the full context, immediately after that little rant that he does, he literally is like, "Yo, chat, I bet they're gonna fucking fall for that." And I was like, "Holy shit, this is a meta that this guy's exploiting." Just he doesn't give a shit. Like it's just the outrageous.
But the thing is, like, it works because some percentage of people go to his stream and are like, "Oh, this guy's funny."
100%. Lacey is an interesting because
people won't really remember that take most of the time.
Which take? Sorry.
Like they won't really remember like the bait clip.
Yeah.
Like long term, like the people who are outraged won't really remember it.
Yeah, Lacey seems like he is good at farming the outrage in ways that doesn't really matter. But then it gets a different level of nuclear when you're dealing with, yes, allegations, but like very serious political events. And it's like now people, this is a big thing I think that is just inevitable with streaming, is you lose your identity because people define you by clips they see on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't know if you've...
for sure. I've definitely had that where a few things I've said that like were like kind of retarded, or some things I've said that like weren't that bad. People will clip it and it'll like, I'll still get people being like, hey, didn't you say that thing? And I'll be like, dude,
Yeah.
this fucking a year ago.
Yeah.
Retarded.
Yeah.
Do you know who Andy Pants Gaming is?
Yes.
Man.
Andy Pants is, he makes videos like why video games are gay now.
Yeah. I fucking love that guy.
You love him?
With
Does
audience capture.
Does he still do stuff?
Yeah, he just like uploads every 3 days. It's like, this game is gay and retarded, and then the thumbnail says gay and retarded.
It's hard for me to tell how serious someone like that is. Like, is he self-aware that he's just posting bullshit?
So I love this
a good
guy
question.
because if you go back to his original, if you like sort by oldest, there's like 8 videos in a row that are just like innocuous video essays about gaming, and then he makes one video about like DEI and it gets like 1 million views.
Yeah.
And then he makes like 3 more that are back to normal video essays, and he keeps adding like the anti-DEI ones in to the point where it's all he does now.
Yeah.
And you can watch him lose his mind.
Yeah.
Based on what he's uploaded.
But what I'm saying is, like, do you think he's being sincere, or do you think it's all just like he's bullshitting, or do you think it's like the more benign video essays were his real opinion, the sort of anti-woke video essays were also his real opinion, but he just realized that one thing worked better than the other?
Yeah. I mean, there has to be some self-awareness, but I'm sure there's also a part of him that's like, oh, this is who I am now. This is my take. This is my importance to the world. Is
he must believe in it to an extent.
Yeah.
I feel like he must.
That's one interesting thing is like, I do think grifters exist, but I do think that if you want to keep your sanity and that like what would you say, like that consistency, like you can't just be lying all the time, bro. Like I do think that people start to believe their own shit, their own, they might start.
The thing is, if you attract that sort of very politically motivated or like kind of takes audience, oftentimes they will either eat you alive or get very bored.
Yeah.
Eventually, one channel I love on YouTube is have you guys seen Two Apri?
No.
You haven't seen Two Apri?
I can look it up.
Kim, is there audio on this?
Yeah, we can play audio.
Just go to Two Apri and sort by popular.
Oh, sorry.
This is like my favorite YouTuber
You're good.
of the past like 3 years. This guy is amazing. Those thumbnails are amazing. Woke apocalypse.
Masculine gay.
How many views is that?
11.7K.
Okay, I thought it would be more.
Latest. And I was gay and retarded. Gross, fire, DEI the game. It's done.
That's
he's
awesome.
gay now. Gay and retarded.
But he's not getting as many views as he used to.
No, he's losing his mind right now. He's like losing sleep right now.
He's losing aura.
Yeah, he's thinking about.
What was the name?
So it's TOO, like 2, and then space, and then APREE. Okay. So this guy is like my favorite guy on YouTube. Go to his channel and just sort by popular.
Eating during virtual interviews.
Yeah, so that one's really good. This guy is
thank you very much for your time. If you get a couple of years, we'll try back. I can't guarantee that it'll always be morning or always be evenings.
What the fuck? That's amazing, dude. I love that.
Okay? We want to make sure that you have our experts and kind of... Oh my gosh, sorry. I was just distracted by this hunk of a man in front of me.
Oh my god. This is awesome, dude. This is the best part of TikTok. Is like
he blew up on TikTok.
The absolute like subversion of giving a fuck.
Okay. Because I mean, this is a serious interview, so if you're not prepared to be serious during the interview, then we can't conduct this interview.
Damn.
Continue the interview? Okay. So what is your rating? We're gonna end this interview.
Damn.
Can we watch the one? There's one where he's drinking during job interviews. He's drinking. He's got a Bud Light. It's one of his most popular ones. This is what he was doing during COVID, though. He does it in real life now, and it's way better. But
popular is that a beer?
Yeah, that one. Job interviews on drinking.
I'm so buzzed right now. I'm trying to think of like specific times, like an example of the metal procurement that I did, or. Correct. I'm trying to remember specifics because I'm so buzzed right now. So I'm trying to think of like specifics.
So may I ask you a question?
That's amazing.
Yes, sure.
Is it appropriate to be
I like to get buzzed going and get kind of, it helps me feel productive and just get into the flow, get ready for the interview, you know, it kind of helps me prepare.
This is amazing.
Okay. And do you think that's appropriate?
I'm not like getting hammered like.
This is great.
Is it appropriate to drink a beer in front of an interviewer?
Well, yeah, so I wasn't like pounding them back and forth.
He just avoids the question always.
I limit myself to 5 during the day. I like to kind of get to that
5
flow,
during the
and
day.
if I
They're like
get
cups of
too
coffee.
buzzed at night, it affects my sleep. So I'm more of like a daytime kind of buzz kind of guy.
High functioning.
Okay.
That's so reasonable though.
That's not my question. I'm
Reasonably
asking
loud.
a choice.
That's
I'm
that's
just
most
asking
people.
if
That's totally
you
fine.
think it's
Yeah.
proper interview etiquette to be drinking
Yeah,
during an interview.
you know, I guess I never thought about that. I've never had one of these virtual Zoom interviews, so I kind of wanted to just
Okay.
do what I do behind the scenes, kind of inside you or whatever. It's not like, I'm not just like funneling like chug chug chug. I get a little buzz going. This is my second one of the day. I got a nice healthy buzz. I'm able to communicate with you nice. I'm feeling confident. I'm ready to nail the interview. It just kind of gets me in the mood, gets me in that flow work state.
This is amazing.
You know,
He's really committing to the bit.
Yeah.
dude.
Yes.
Metal procurement, I did the same thing. I would
Metal
get a
procurement.
little buzz during the day, and no one would even know. It would be the opposite. I would do better. Just the way I'm talking to you right now, I'm getting more and more buzz throughout this conversation. I'm just talking more and more
Paul, I
confidently.
really don't think this
He keeps drinking your
for you right now. I appreciate the honesty. I don't think that the experience
Oh.
for the procurement. Did you do global procurement? Did you secure metals for Asia?
She's keeping it going though.
Yes.
Yeah.
China, and then I'm trying to think of the other countries.
Asia.
Um,
That's amazing, dude.
So, I'll connect with you if we decide to move forward.
Ah, there it is.
awesome. I mean,
Fair enough?
who wouldn't want to move forward with me? Look at my confidence. Look at my energy. Look at my conversational skills, and just what I bring to the table.
Yeah,
It's just-
this is
is
one
great.
of my favorite guys.
Fantastic,
for sure.
dude.
He's got he does these videos too where he'll go to like you guys heard of like First Amendment auditing?
No.
So in the U.S. legally you can film basically anywhere as long as you're not inside of like a private business.
Yeah.
So if there's like an ice cream shop and you're filming people but you're from outside, you're not inside, you can film them legally. But nobody thinks that.
Yeah.
If you're inside of a town hall, you can also film pretty much everything as long as you're not inside of an office. So he'll go there with a camera and just stare at people at like the post office.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "You're making me feel uncomfortable." And he'll be like, "Oh, I'm just scanning the QR code." And they'll be like a QR code. He'll do it for like 30 minutes, and then they'll like clearly know that he's filming them, and they'll call the cops, and the cop can't do anything ever. He cannot arrest him. So he has to go there and tell these like extremely pissed off people. He'll get people to like close down the post office.
Yeah.
He'll get people like extremely upset at him, like screaming at him, attacking him with a camera. He'll sit there playing like a retarded guy, be like, he went to this library. He went to this fucking library filming like these old ladies, public libraries. Film. And he told this woman that he was trying to find a book called 10 Ways to Fuck a Fat Girl. And
this guy we're talking about.
Yes, this guy.
That's awesome.
And they called the cops, and the cops are like, "Oh, you have permission to film here?" He's like, "Oh yeah, it's from my friend's dad." And he pulls out the piece of paper. He's like, "We call him Bengali Russell Brand." It's a picture of Russell Brand edited to be Indian, and it says, "I give my son permission to film here" in impact font. And he hands that out to people. There's another one where he goes to like a bank and starts filming it. This woman's like, "You can't film the bank." He's like, "Oh, I have a license to carol." And he'll start caroling outside the bank with like a picture that says "License to Carol" with like Santa on it.
Yeah.
He's a legend. This is the kind of stuff that I've been watching a lot of.
Yeah,
lately.
no,
This guy rocks.
you've probably seen Vagrant Holidays, but what was his?
Vagrant Holidays.
But what was the original thing? He was basically a similar concept, except he wouldn't say anything.
Video cameraman?
Thank you.
Or surveillance cameraman?
Surveillance cameraman.
Yeah,
He would
that's
just
so
walk
good.
up to people, be literally not say anything, completely stoic. And yeah, dude, like people's days are disrupted by this because this is such a fucking like an alien thing to the 95% of people. Obviously, you see it with like paparazzi too. Like Kanye's got some iconic ass paparazzi Quentin Tarantino's got some fucking iconic paparazzi confrontations.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And that's the biggest dub for the fucking paparazzi guys
Oh
too.
yeah, I love it. Yeah, this guy is a legend though. He did these during COVID because you couldn't go outside.
Yeah.
But he does like real life stuff now mostly. Like he'll go to like a town hall in just like some random town and start filming.
Yeah.
And he'll have like a giant tripod attached to his iPhone. Like a giant like film studio tripod he's holding like this with an iPhone on it.
Yeah.
He'll just like film some woman So like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just being a goofball.
My God, that's amazing, dude. That reminds me of fucking Twomad, because that was actually
dude, the Zoom shit.
No, the Zoom shit. It was how he kind of became more mainstream in a lot of ways, because most people, at least me, I've had awareness of Twomad for forever. Like Cole One's fucking like his original story times, like the deep lore of Twomad was fucking very potent.
He got real big doing. Those videos got like some of them got like 10, 12 million views. The Zoom bombing.
Yep. Yeah. No, Zoom bombing.
Do you remember the N-word pass thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember this, Jreg? How big of a Twomad fan were you?
I was aware of him. Yeah.
Did you see he gave out the N-word pass? He sold N-word passes.
Yeah.
And there was this kid who brought it to school, and the kid like got kicked out of school or got like suspended. So Twomad called the school impersonating his father, like trying to get the school to let him say the N-word, and also told the principal that he needed to be able to eat a whole goat for breakfast because he was Wakandan. It was awesome.
I didn't see that.
Dude, yeah. I don't know if... Yeah, sorry, go on. No, I was going to say, if we're on the topic of Twomad, yes, he was...
It's been a year.
It's been a
fucking... Is that crazy?
It has been a year, yes. We, all of us had exposure or just direct involvement with Twomad, especially toward the end of his life. I did think it'd be worthwhile for us to fucking reflect on that as a group, to come together. And the thing that I specifically was curious about, your guys' takes or opinions on, was the public perception of Twomad's death. I really do wonder what was going through your guys' heads, because for I think most of us, that was a fucking blackpilling event. Like, it was pretty, that was a moment where it's like, because obviously it wasn't funny. Like, the bit was, like, sorry, I say the bit, but like, for us, this was like a serious thing that was weighing on our minds. And then him dying, unfortunately, was just not surprising. Like, I think, and I were saying that's definitely...
I mean, it definitely came as a shock, but looking back, I guess it's not shocking.
Yeah.
Or maybe it shouldn't have been. Like, I guess that was one of the ways it could have gone.
Yeah.
There was a non-zero chance that he was going to die.
And I was, I acknowledged very recently that, like, the last text that you had sent me or something like that was literally like, Twomad is dead or something like that. And I remember it was basically, you were the first person to tell me, okay? And instantly we called, and I was like, oh my fucking God. And this is recorded. This is in your video, which is a very good video. I remember you specifically wanted to be the one to like write that, like to basically work and, establish that story. Mm-hmm. And we did get humbled by YouTube, both you and I, this. There was a whole controversy, but to get more just focusing on the Twomad thing, it's like, you basically told me, you broke the fucking story to me, and then I called Jreg immediately, basically. And that was a very dark moment, I would say.
How did you find out?
I think it was
TMZ, bro.
TMZ.
TM fucking Z just like posted on Twitter, and then chaos ensued effectively.
Yeah. I recently got the final police report, and it was confirmed accidental overdose. Is what they said from the autopsy. Yeah.
Which, you can, like, at the end of the day, like, obviously he did kill himself. It
wasn't like direct suicide.
Yeah, what you were telling me is that apparently from the either psychiatrist or therapist that he was talking to, he wasn't overtly suicidal, right? Like, it was not his intent to die, but like he was.
I guess we don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember him talking about wanting to kill himself a lot. It seems like he was a drug addict, and he just kept going and going and going, and he hit that point where. Yeah.
I did get the vibe that he didn't seem to care if he lived or died.
But I didn't get the vibe that he wanted to.
No, I didn't get that. He was never a depressive person.
It was like nihilism.
Yeah. Well, he was also, because there's a lot to obviously unpack with Twomad, but he was basically flexing that he was taking fucking Xanax toward the end of his life.
He was taking a Pharmapram, which is Mexican Xanax, which is often pressed with fentanyl, which is great.
Yeah, it's insane.
He was also on a lot of antidepressants, which is weird for a guy who's never.
Yeah, and then ketamine. Yeah, abusing ketamine.
Yeah, ketamine. I think during the Super Mega podcast, he said he was doing a lot of weed and Adderall at the same time.
Oof. Yeah, that's brutal.
Dangerous combination. Well, you think he was schizophrenic, right?
I said he was like autistic or schizophrenic or something. Yeah, I think he was definitely a schizo personality type. Doesn't mean I was like legitimately saying he was going through a slow unwinding psychotic break, although possibly. I don't know. It was probably mostly just drug use. I don't know.
Specifically with Twomad, so how do you think that streaming affected Twomad? Okay.
Was he a big streamer? I know he streamed, but was like streaming his main thing? To me, it seems to be more. He like moved to LA and like was really weird and had like no real friends.
Yeah.
And which makes sense because I mean, when you interacted with him before the whole unraveling truly started, at least from what we know, you didn't really get to know him at all, right?
No. Yeah, he was like he was busy playing Overwatch and stuff. I was in the area. We hung out very briefly, but he was a real. I don't know. I talked to him about community and stuff and what that was like for him, and he just mostly spent most of his time in his room alone. Yeah. It
seems to me like it was a big combination of like social isolation. And like I mean, obviously for him, like sexual inadequacy was a big focus, like virginity.
Yeah.
And to be clear, I think he did probably sexually assault that girl. I think he probably did.
It didn't look good.
Yeah, but I don't think he should have died. I guess is my thing there.
I think that our opinions on whether he should have or shouldn't have died aren't as, I guess, relevant as like he like it is.
I guess
tragic.
it's disconcerting to see, you know, people who claim to care about mental illness, you know, Twitter files, whatever you call them, people who claim to care about it, clearly seeing him go through a psychotic break and being like, yeah,
that was the thing that was wild, was like, because obviously, like, you were in the trenches of working on your own Twomad video already. I had already basically made a Twomad video and was debating what to basically do about it. And yeah, you guys talked about it on the podcast, which was a very good conversation. But like, outside of the world of people, I guess, who actually knew him, it's just like, yeah, this is funny. This is just Twitter content. You know what I mean? It's dehumanizing. Yeah, and it's like, of course, you could ask.
I do think some of the memes were funny, to be clear.
Dude, and Twomad would probably agree.
Found them funny.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No.
Like all the memes about, like, you know, he was playing Winston when he died or whatever.
Yeah. Well, there was people who were just like, it was like you could get like fucking 90K likes for saying like W basically. To that.
I don't know.
I mean, the video, the thumbnail of the video that I put out on was a joke. It's like I'm standing outside of a Nomad. Like store, and I have my hands on my face.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think he would have.
No,
I wouldn't have cared.
No, but I think the intention behind that joke on Twitter from a lot of people was very like, it wasn't even just callous. It was like
detached.
A direct celebration of.
Yeah, they were glad he was dead.
Yeah,
they were celebrating his death.
Like even
he was annoying on the internet.
Even the victim was like,
because he said something mean about a trans person.
Yeah, among his like 5,000 tweets per day.
Yes, dude. Oh my god, I remember that time period, bro, because it was like, oh man.
Like the idea that tweet could ever have been like any kind of sincere thing from a guy that was clearly having like a psychotic break is like unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
People are like, shout out to the guy who, I saw even recently, it was like, shout out to the guy who died a year ago. He deserved it because he mocked a trans girl who died. And it's like, okay, he clearly is a fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
He also like apologized for it multiple times, which is, you know,
and then
expect,
as he descended,
to do that.
As his mental health descended even further though, and like he obviously was like using more shit, this did not help his mental state, obviously. And it's like, again, I'm not moralizing it, it's like, this is how the internet works, whatever. And you know, he was also like a fucking absolute, like a demonic fucking force almost online. But it definitely contributed to the degrading of his mental health. I remember sitting in on Twomad streams. That's why I brought up streaming, because he would weirdly be streaming fucking Overwatch on his channels. And dude, he was
streaming it with like the jail thing overlay over his webcam.
I don't know if these still exist in any capacity, but it was a crazy thing. It was like, yeah, he had jail bars over his fucking thing. Basically,
I think they're still on YouTube. I think so.
The streams, yeah, he might have been. I remember he was kind of privating them, but it was literally like, dude, it's hilarious. Like the way that he was like behind bars. It's like the PNG, and it was absolutely fucked up because he was also showing images of the woman, and he was just like, he was basically just constantly, like, if you watch those streams for like even an hour, he's constantly mumbling about the court case. Like this was shit that he was absolutely always on his mind. Like
the way he responded to like the videos about him, like the Oompaville video with like the blown out mic, like you couldn't even hear him, was unreal.
Yes.
It was pretty, I will say it was kind of refreshing to see someone just like not care at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but at the same time, like that is his problem. He didn't care.
Yeah, he didn't care. He didn't care, I guess, about the public public perception necessarily, because he was.
But he also didn't care about himself or his own health or.
But bro, it's a dark thing because other YouTubers were trying to fucking help him.
I
Like they
remember,
were basically, because Twomad kept saying basically he was innocent, it's gonna get revealed, all this shit. And anytime any YouTuber took a look at the actual case, they realized like, oh my fucking god, this guy's absolutely not in the right. You know what I mean?
No, not a good person. I don't think that many should have died.
Yeah,
but not a good person.
I wanted to bring it, I guess, back to Twomad also basically popped off when he was 15, and I wanted to, because you're a guy who literally got millions of views very young age. Imagine getting over 1 million views at age 15 for your opinion. You know what I mean? Or like for attacking somebody or whatever.
Yeah, you're never gonna come back from that. Imagine Andy Pants Gaming changed it to the DEI stuff when he was 15.
Yeah,
that's over. That's your brain solidified like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I am curious. How do you feel like that affected the shape of your brain? Like basically getting that stimulated, because it's just undeniable. Like that.
I mean, obviously I don't regret it because I am where I am now.
No,
but it definitely is it's like a very weird thing to think about, the fact that I was like getting popular on the internet while I was in high school and like getting involved in these like drama situations, like calling people out and getting called out. I don't think it was particularly good for me, but the thing I was lucky about was that I always had kind of a push and pull where like my parents were not supportive about it at all, like any YouTube stuff, not because of what I was doing on YouTube, but just because they were like, this is fucking retarded, like go to college, like get a job. And I had also a good group of friends around me at the time,
which is huge. That's huge.
And I feel
you need friends. This is a big cope Twomad had, that like, oh yeah, I'll make friends later or whatever the fuck.
Did he say that? I thought he just said like, I don't need anyone.
It was
he frequently said he didn't need me.
No, exactly. But me and Tom interviewed Twomad, which is basically like one of the only times he's talked kind of unironically about the court case, and when it was really revealed that he's.
I think he wasn't. I think he wasn't high during those combos.
Okay, yeah.
Or if he was lucid enough that he could respond.
I think he was taking ketamine toward the end of it, and that's why it kind of became such a dark descent in a way. But the point of what I was getting at was just that he we kind of tried to, I guess, reel him in a little bit. We kept trying to reel him in, and we were like, you emphasized it, which I think is, again, just facts. I think having people in your life is important. These things, they keep you grounded.
Yeah, because I can imagine it's very intoxicating to get attention online. Yeah. Especially when you're a kid. Yeah. And I can imagine that if I didn't have like normal friends around me or like a really normal family, I don't know what could have happened there. Because like when I was 15, if I had my way, I probably would have dropped out of fucking high school. Mm-hmm. And like I don't think that's a good thing for most people to like have no social experiences or like have none. And like I said, it was always a push and pull where like I'd be doing YouTube, my parents would be like, focus on fucking school, this is retarded, and like they would like take away the computer, and I would find ways to get it. But but I think having that was good, but I don't know that Twomad had that.
I mean, he has like some lore obviously where like he had a lot of static with his family. There was obviously like his family were immigrants. That definitely, there was like a disconnect that existed there. I remember. Fuck, man. There's a lot to the Twomad thing, but I think this might sound mentally insane, but I do think that because you popped off in a sense for your opinion in a way, like you kind of. You at the very least, if you made a bad take, you got a lot of shit for it, and you had to kind of evaluate, and like it does force you. It's a bit of a gauntlet where it's like you actually have to establish. Because for me, like when I first popped off, there was a moment when I realized like, fuck, I don't even know what I think sometimes. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't have to face that mirror. In the case of Twomad, he did pop off for kind of being just a schizo editor. Like there was not much incentive for him to have a concrete
him acting like a fucking framework. Freak was like
he popped off because of his personality.
Yeah,
it was always rewarded.
Personality, and then what's rewarded algorithmically is lean into that. Yeah, and then okay, I can do nothing wrong, so I may as well just keep leaning into that and get more and more extreme.
Yeah.
You were saying when you had interviewed him in that hotel room, he kept doing this like weird thing about throwing popcorn on the floor. Yeah, and then you like laughed a little bit, and then he just kept like doing weird shit. That was the
microcosm of like he was doing weird shit, and I found it funny, and then he did more of it, and then that's like a microcosm of his entire life.
But I don't know. In the case of Twomad, in my head, it's very complicated, but it's kind of simple. It's like guy without much keeping him grounded at all gets super fucking famous. He makes a decent amount of money, at least to him,
and is all alone.
And is alone,
and is already probably. I would agree with you. He probably had some kind of mental illness going into it all.
He was already a social pariah. Like that was a big draw to him in a sense. Is like his stories talking about how he was a weirdo in school and shit.
He was
like
a
that.
mute when he was a teenager. Like he wouldn't talk at all. And he told me that. Yeah.
And then when he starts talking, it's like, and he gets famous.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was a total fucking product of the stimulation of the internet. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Many such cases, man.
Many
such cases.
many
Like
such
fucking
cases.
Jack Doherty.
Yeah.
All these fucking people.
Yeah,
Even adults, dude. Even adults who just
Well,
like.
Jack Doherty's interesting because his parents directly encouraged all of his bad behavior.
I don't know if it was your video or somebody else's, but like, yeah, they drove him to the Phase house when he was like 12.
It was mine, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was, well, maybe you could have watched it in someone else's, but my video was good. But yeah, his mom would like drive him to YouTubers' houses to harass them. And they would be like,
insane.
he went on Dr. Phil when he was really young. He was like 16, and Dr. Phil was like talking to the parents, and they're like, well, we don't like what he's doing, but he's making so much damn money doing it. We don't want to stop his business. And it's like, well, don't you think the business could wait a couple years?
Yeah.
Until he's like a normal person. But I don't know if Jack Doherty even finished high school. I don't think he did.
That is such a fucking.
And now, and like once again, like now, like who is Jack Doherty gonna grow into or become? How could he ever become like a somewhat reasonable, respectable person anyway? When when like so many years of his crucial development from like 12 to 22 were like being a fucking freak and getting rewarded for it and never having any consequences.
Farming like just very, very like brutal moments and like just being the biggest piece of shit ever. And everyone, that's what people think of when they think of Jack Doherty. They're like, oh, fuck that kid.
He'll find Jesus in 2 years.
He'll pretend to find Jesus.
Yeah, he'll
Maybe.
be really annoying about it.
He'll be Muslim. Imagine him wearing a burqa.
Yeah, once it becomes popular, once it becomes profitable to do so.
Yeah, I mean, it will happen eventually once all the immigrants come over, and they don't know who Jack Doherty is. They'd be like, "White boy Jack Doherty is wearing burqa. They're just like us."
Yeah.
Jack Doherty is the greatest, but
Man, I can't take it, man. I feel like I lose my mind a little bit every day.
Yeah, well, you gotta try, man.
What's the whole community meme then? Can we explain this? What's going on here?
What's going on here? It's polycule. We talked about this.
bruh?
Well, we all fuck.
We're all fucking.
That's
Yeah.
the only reason. Really horny.
Yeah. What does community look like for you, Tom?
Right now, there is no community. Right now, it's just me. It's just me. Yeah. I think I'm moving at some point. I don't know, but right now, it's my family and like 1 or 2 friends, because all my buddies from high school, they all moved away recently. Like if I had continued with college, it would have ended pretty recently.
Yeah.
And they all recently moved away.
Yeah.
So right now it's just me. It's pretty much just me, and I got a couple buddies that I hang out with, and it's okay, but there's just not a lot. I feel like this is such like a YouTuber problem, but like I have very little to talk about with like a normal person who like doesn't do YouTube. Like I have very little to relate on, and like there's like music stuff and there's some things, but like I mean the thing that most people spend the majority of their time on is their job. That is it. And that is, college or a job is how people make friends, make romantic connections.
Yeah.
And
True.
As I have friends over time, I find it like harder and harder to talk to them about normal things. And we can catch up and it's fine, but there's like exceptions obviously, but like making new friends in that paradigm that aren't related to YouTube is like kind of difficult to like. And also I don't want to like tell them about my YouTube thing, which is another part, so I'm like kind of closed off when I meet people. I don't want to like, because it, when you say you're a YouTuber right off the bat, it kind of changes people's perception of you. So yeah, it's been a very it's been a weird experience the past 7 months or so.
My meme is that when I meet new people, I just tell them I'm like an editor for a YouTuber. Like
I
edit for Jreg.
I said I did YouTube editing for a while, but then the problem is I can't really talk about it without lying.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it becomes
you don't want to have your
obvious.
friendships predicated on a lie.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, and that's a real thing. I think it gets harder to make friends as you get older. I don't think that's controversial. Most people who think about it understand that. But like, if you're just trying to put it off, like it's never gonna get easier. And it's also like
you got to deal with it. Well, what does it look like for you? You went through a Turkey Tom phase now.
A Turkey Tom phase.
You went through a no community phase.
Yeah, well, that was when I get started on YouTube. I mean, literally every YouTuber has the same problems, which is they don't know how to talk to normal people, and they don't have a community of the people that do their job for a living because you live online. Yeah. And then if you do have that community, you're a streamer, and the people that you engage with, you have these transactional relationships with. So you have them on stream, and then you get into a sort of destiny situation where, why is everybody backstabbing me? It's because you don't know anybody. You have no friends. You have people that you talk to on your stream. That's it. And that's completely transactional, and everybody only has the incentive structure to I don't know, quote unquote, betray you, even though there was nothing really to go off of in the first place. And you need real people in your life, so that, you know, like if I'm beefing on Brogan on Twitter with Twitter, that's clearly fucking we're doing WWE kayfabe.
Yeah.
Have you fooled anyone?
Yeah, we fooled lots of people.
I've had some people reach out and they're like, "What's the beef?"
Yeah,
with...
Oki keeps getting messages like, "Is that real?" JJ,
I find that funny.
Everyone keeps messaging JJ, being like, "I'm so glad I don't know who all these Zoomers are and their drama," and it's like, yeah, I mean, that's something we can do because we know each other in person. And the real world in-person interactions prevents people from being sociopaths. You can't be sociopaths towards people in community because everyone knows.
And there's
about
consequences.
Everybody. They hold you accountable. Same thing with relationships. If you have a relationship you pluck from the void, from the ether, those are going to be dysfunctional relationships.
Well, what do you mean it prevents? You mean it prevents them from acting like a sociopath?
It's a buffer against sociopathy.
Because isn't sociopathy a thing that you are?
No,
You think it's a thing you become?
It's something you become. It's an incentive structure provided by. If you're streaming all the time, you're going to become a nihilistic sociopath. This is the only way around it. Partially because what you're doing is fundamentally nihilistic. You're producing nothing content with no thought behind it instead of making art. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, okay. Here's a counter. Most people aren't artists. Are they sociopaths?
No,
they just have a job.
No, but if you're going to be streaming all day, it's going to make you into a sociopath because you're going to be like.
Well, let's read into go deeper.
Sure. Okay. The incentive structure when you're online all the time is to just treat people and everything is like, how many views is this going to get? How can I manipulate this person for the most amount of entertainment or whatever? It doesn't reward long-term.
But the majority of streamers just play video games, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking about the political streamers right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
which are the people that get talked about the most on Twitter and shit. You know what I mean? Like they do occupy the most like
because like when I see like Tyler One, he doesn't come across to me as sociopathic. He's like he's definitely like hurting himself a little bit by streaming. You know, I've made a video about like how he was talking about how miserable his life was from streaming. There's like an aspect to it from that, but it's not. I don't think it's like sociopathic. It's like he's like hurting himself more.
There's also, but like those circles also they do get super fucking vested into the interpersonal dramas of their own ecosystem. You know what I mean? Like if you zoom out of the Tyler One dramas, it's like this is not much. But like
he doesn't. The thing about him is in particular, he doesn't really get involved in a lot of the dramas. Are you talking about more someone like Mizkif?
Yeah. But like again, the pirate software stuff is just kind of topical. But it's like this is you zoom out and it's like yes, this is weird kind of. World of Warcraft context, like this guy roached in World of Warcraft, fucking pirate software, and it's like this is like, dude.
In fairness, I feel like the majority of that drama is just like it's funny.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is Brogan could run over a child, and I'd still be on his team. It's because like you know.
So are you saying for you it's like the public, like the idea of public pressure, like you like how do you stand by that guy?
Well, that's a big part of it. Is you know, someone
could he run over a child and you wouldn't care?
Who?
Brogan.
Yeah, he could run over a kid.
Yeah, the second
I'd have a conversation with him about it. I'm not reporting.
Yeah.
I'm not canceling him.
But also when you just have people in real life you're talking to, right? Whether it's your like family or like a group of friends, you need to behave socially acceptably, right? You need to understand like how people actually work, and I just don't think you get that when you're not engaging with real people all the time.
Yeah. Also,
but that's also why the internet's so fun because people act like freaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's also why. That's also
the
problem that you're outlining is also why it's good.
Well, that's your whole career.
In my head,
the lolcows.
Yeah. That's why it's good because you see them. It's less even making fun of it. It's just like what the fuck is going on. So watching it,
it's an interesting case study of.
It's so fascinating.
But these people are often. They're either mentally ill
they're
or
retarded.
they're retarded, or their algorithm is making them lean into these aspects of themselves more and more.
The real vultures part of lolcow culture or whatever is that it becomes their fucking income to just take an inundation of shit.
A lot of them though don't really make money. The more interesting part to me is that the income for them is the attention. Because they just want attention. And it's like with so many of these guys, like some of them do actually fuck off, but with so many of them it's like they just can't help themselves but like be online.
Yeah.
They can't help themselves.
And I think they probably would be able to help themselves if they had other outlets for getting attention, like I don't know, people around them, like real world people.
So you think the internet is like their substitute for like real life?
Yeah, 100%. I think the internet is most people's substitute for real life.
Dude. Are you kidding me? There's so many fucking, and they don't have to be YouTubers. I'm sure people watching this is a bit of a substitute for their social fucking engagement for the day. It's
but I think the real thing is that if you're just watching content and just like if you're watching it as a viewer, it is different from being a guy that's like on Reddit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Because there are definitely millions and millions of people out there who just, like, I would say even the vast majority of people probably have, like, they don't have this super unhealthy relationship with the stuff. They just kind of listen to it and then they fuck off.
I think that,
but there is enough people that, like, have that kind of unhealthy thing where they need to be engaging.
And
like,
then you get that when you're streaming as well. Those 5% most
when you're
parasocial
streaming,
people.
all those people are there. Yeah.
And they're giving you
No
90%
hate.
of your revenue.
No hate.
Which is when Rogan streams and he gets 2 autistic people funding 90% of his stream.
That's actually
pay piggies.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing. That's an interesting meta with the streaming shit. In my head, a big part of what we're talking is like the degradation of sincerity. Like in a lot of ways, this isn't always the case, but like locals are like weirdly sincere people sometimes. Like they'll say what they're thinking.
They can't fucking help themselves.
Yeah, they don't have any discretion or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like there's a.
But then the thing is, they get rewarded for that, which makes
Yep.
it insincere.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they feed into it
Like
in a weird
Boogie.
way.
Like, why doesn't Boogie
Agreed.
just quit?
Agreed.
Why isn't Boogie fucking quit? It's because he just does nothing else.
He doesn't know how to do anything else.
Yeah, he never learned.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess. And he's too old now. Once you're at a certain age, do you guys think once you're at a certain age, it's over?
I mean, who you are at
23.
a certain age is probably
in my
23?
23.
In my head,
It's over.
So I got a few months.
Yeah.
It depends what you're doing. Like if you kept streaming,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't grow.
Yeah.
And you would probably stay the same person.
The big thing.
And a lot of Minecraft YouTuber, he blows up when he's 18 for making Minecraft content. And then he's 26, he's still mentally 18.
Yeah.
So then it's not that weird.
And he's
when he jams
messaging
with
15-year-olds.
16-year-olds.
Yeah. That's exactly
So you
what
think
I
it
was
was a
thinking.
good decision?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, no, totally, bro. I mean, the other big thing is that, dude, okay, the darkest thing to me, the biggest, like, staring into the void, the abyss, is like, my end goal is to be a streamer. That's my end goal. That's what I want to be. You know what I mean? As an end goal, that's fucking brutal. That's brutal, I think. Like,
I mean, I kind of get it, though, because
it.
it is better than most other things.
dude, and it's, you can clock
and you
in.
do make a lot of money.
You make, if
If you're one of the
some
guys,
of
you
them.
do make a lot of money, so I get it.
No, yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely not my end goal, and it's fine if it is someone's. But I don't know. I don't think I have that in me to be that guy forever.
Well, what you were describing is literally like, okay, you basically registered my end goal is not being a streamer. I have higher aspirations that are basically being detracted by the streaming, and the streaming is becoming a more of like a black hole that, like, I don't know if you ever had this where like you'll have a stream and then you literally have no idea what you said. You know what I mean? Like you basically, it's almost like a fucking, because this is just inevitable. If you talk for hours on end, it's like you might look back on something you said a year ago and it's like, what the fuck?
Here's a good. What the fuck is
I gotta
that?
stop
What
fucking
is
with
this?
this.
Is this one of those
Ab
things
roller.
that the girls use to like roll their butt?
We had it on the roof at some point. So
Just like you do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're supposed to roll your abs, not your butt.
Chat.
Can I roll my feet?
Chat, how much
Yeah,
can I
roll
roll
your
my
feet.
abs?
Get the foot cam. Get the foot cam on Turkey Tom's feet now.
Okay, so
That's what I would say. That's what I'd say if Henry was behind.
There's
the
this
camera.
analogy for streaming in my mind that I realize that's I talked about it with you last night. I heard this on the Joe Rogan podcast. Okay, the number one place, but I think it is an apt comparison that. Maybe I'm connecting dots that aren't there, but I think it's real. Okay, so Joe and Quentin Tarantino. Okay, they were talking about stand up, and they were talking about how if you want to do stand up and you want to get really good at stand up and be one of like the greats, quote unquote. Okay, you're gonna bomb a lot. There's gonna be a lot of bombing, probably for years. You're gonna be bombing, and you're not gonna make money off it. And your life is probably gonna suck. But if you persevere and you get to a point where you actually get good, which is difficult to do, and there's a slimmer chance that you'll do it than most people realize, you will be greatly rewarded and you will be, quote unquote, a good stand-up. But there were these guys that would go to like the Comedy Store, Cellar, whatever the fuck, and they would do impressions. And if you do an impression, which is like easier to do than, you know, getting a good stand-up routine, is you can just kind of make fun of someone rather than, you know, kind of bringing your own voice, I guess. You can relatively easily make a consistent living and make a decent amount of money. And at least at that time, that's what was, you know, one of the easy things you could do, right? And you will make money doing it, and you won't bomb so much. You'll be so much faster to not bomb, and you'll make money doing it. But if you do that, you'll get locked in to the impressions because you're not getting better at your normal stand-up material because you're not doing it, and that'll just be kind of what you are. And you'll probably make money doing it for a long time, maybe forever, but you probably won't leave that little town that you're in doing it, whether it's LA or New York, and you'll kind of just be an impression guy.
Yeah.
And if you're comfortable with that, you can do that. But like one of the biggest pieces of advice that, I don't know, some comedian got early on was like, don't do impressions because you're going to get stuck doing that fucking forever. Like, just learn to deal with bombing.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I started to see streaming, at least in the past, I don't know, month or 3 weeks. It hasn't even been that long, so maybe I shouldn't be reflecting on it that hard. But is like, it's like stand-up. It's like I'm doing impressions. It's like, you know, I can do it and make a bunch of money doing it. But if I keep doing it, I'm going to do it forever, and it's going to increasingly become a big part of me. And then I'll never be able to ascend past being the streamer. And I don't want who I am forever or what my legacy is to be being a streamer. Yeah. And also people will be like, well, why don't you just do it once a week? But I'm not someone who can just do that. Like, I tried that and I just ended up doing it 4 or 5 times a week. Like,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'm very addicted to the things that I like.
I think you just realize, like, if you want to succeed at this meta, which you're saying, like, you basically anything you do, you want to go all in. It's like, yeah, if you want to succeed as a streamer, you need to be live.
You need to be a streamer.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to be a streamer.
It's like balance.
And that's not what I want myself to be forever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely real. Yeah, I think about Etika a lot, which there's obviously echoes you could do with between Etika and Twomad, but Etika was a streamer. That was basically his main thing. And, like, on paper, Etika looked like a really well put together guy. Like, you know, he was handsome, he was fucking in shape, he had, like, a lot going for him. He was funny, he had a personality.
He had that cool, whatever that fro is.
Yeah.
The
flat top.
Yeah. It reminds me of the
flat top.
It's a kid from Hey Arnold, dude. I forget, but fuck. Anyway.
Actually, the guy from that movie Sing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that movie Sing, dude. But yeah, I mean, in the case
That's my son.
But bro, you would think
That's my son. Sorry. Hello.
You're good. But no, yeah, sorry. In the case of Etika, though, it's just like on paper, you would think he's an elite streamer. He was the kind of the top dog in a lot of ways. And dude, he totally succumbed to the natural conclusion of being a full-time streamer.
He is, in fairness, he is an extreme example.
Absolutely,
he had mental illness,
but he was prolific. People love him.
I don't know that would happen to me, but I think I would be at a place where I'm just not.
No, I agree.
Glad with the last few years of my life, and even as is, I'm not that glad with the last few years of my life. To be honest, it's like kind of been. I've just been on the computer, and like I like being on the computer, but I've just been like watching shit happen. I don't even remember most of it. Like, my sense of time is fucked. I have no idea. Like, I feel like a lot has happened and also absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Because I've just been watching other people's videos and, like, playing Fortnite and talking to chat.
Yeah.
Shout out chat. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
But yeah, toward the end of Etika's life, basically, his stream chat kind of started turning on him. That was a big thing, because it's like you establish a personality, and which he did have a big personality, and it was a lot of fun to watch Etika's streams. Like, I've barely ever actually liked a streamer or watched them live. Etika was one of the only examples where I actually was like, this is exciting, when he was looking up the fucking dark web stuff. But there is this thing where over the years you gain and lose viewers, and sometimes those viewers, they're like, what have you become? You know what I mean? Like, they get invested in your own arc, and you, like you said, like a lot.
Yeah, they get invested in your story.
Yeah, and in the case of Etika, his like mental issues were getting exacerbated, and his behavior was becoming more erratic, and people were pointing out like, oh, yo, Etika's complaining about donations. You know what I mean? Because Etika, he was one of the first people that got a fuckload of super chats and all this stuff, and eventually when that started to dry up, but also when people started to like make videos shitting on him and stuff like that, it totally exacerbated. Like, I don't think that would have happened to you, and for a lot of reasons. But if you're like have like mental instability kind of underlining, streaming can totally exacerbate.
But also,
that.
I think if you don't have mental instability, it can foster that, and it can create a kernel within you.
Yeah.
Well,
I felt the kernel.
That's your whole community up there. That chat, that's your entire community. So it's turned against you. Now you got to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Because you have that's what happens. That's what you should do actually when your entire community turns against you. You kill yourself out of shame, because you're a being that lives in community. Yeah. And your community is those guys on your screen popping up.
I think it's intrinsic. We're primates.
I wanted to.
We need the other apes to like us.
Yeah. it's. I feel like it's good. My approach recently is someone who like I got into it later on, and then like only have had success on YouTube in the past like year and a half. Like, I want to be a writer. Like, that's what I always want to do. Yeah. And I just see myself as a writer on YouTube, but like I'm trying to build the writing career separate. So like if everything tanked or like my YouTube disappeared, I'm like I could still write for anybody else. But
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, even like streaming, I just trying to not be a YouTuber or a streamer, but like a writer who is working on YouTube and streaming.
That is the way I think. That's what I tell people to view it as. It's like I'm X. This is my goal or my identity or whatever, and then I stream on the side. You know, like once you start identifying with being a streamer, it can be a bit. Which it's not that bad, but like obviously, it's just once you identify with being something, it's gonna take up more of your fucking personality. I wanted to ask though, if you've experienced this, because it is total no if experienced. Yeah, you. Sorry, but this specific thing is. a big meta with streaming is totally donations, right? Like most streamers make fuck all, right? And if somebody becomes like a big donator, there's an interesting, I think, meta experience that can occur, which is like you can start to realize that individual viewers gain leverage, if this makes any sense.
Yeah, dude, I've done some gay shit for donations.
Yeah.
I've shaked my ass. I've taken off my shirt.
I've eaten bugs, bro. I mean, I do that regularly.
But... for donations.
Yeah, I still eat bugs.
You want to eat the bugs.
I want to eat the bugs, but I also I have this like little analysis that I started to form just through like actually doing this and whatever. It's like there are two kinds of donators, okay? And you know, just fucking tell me if I'm wrong or if you have experience, whatever. But like I simplify it to there are donators and like viewers who want to empower you. They want to like lift you up. They just like what you're doing. They're like, dude, here you go. Here's money. Like, I like you. And then there's people who want to gain power over you. There's people who want to gain leverage over you. And they really get off on the like, oh, I inserted $10 and he's doing this. You know what I mean? And I think that it's something.
Well, that's the whole point of chat interaction, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah.
If you're watching it live, that's the point.
No, totally. And I'm not saying that everybody who donates.
And also, when you say gain power, I think you're using very loaded terminology. A lot of it is more just like people want to see the guy that they're watching. Well, because when they hear gain power, they think about like a fucking ape like mounting a lass.
I get it. Yeah.
You know, what you mean, I think, is like people just want to see you interact with them. They want to see you be like, oh hey, I read the thing. Oh my god, the guy that I'm watching read the thing, and I get it because I've done that when I've donated to stream.
Right, but that is not exactly. You're right. What you're adding like a shade of gray to the binary that I'm trying to invoke or whatever. But like, there definitely is dynamics, and I'm sure that women experience it more aggressively, probably. But I think that there's like an under kind of appreciated thing because it's usually tiny streamers who probably experience this the most. Obviously, there's famous cases like Amaranth, I think.
Because when you're a tiny streamer and you get a donation, it's like, whoa.
Yes, it's like, impact.
It's like you're not making money, really. Yeah. So when you do make a little bit, it's like, fuck, I should probably acknowledge this or like do something about it in some way.
Yeah, and it's hard to escalate too. You know what I mean? Like it's like because when you start out as a streamer, it's like someone sends you $50. You're like, holy shit, dude, I'm gonna eat fucking $7 for you, dude. Thank you. Yeah. And then it's like they're donating $100 the next week, and it's like, I'm gonna eat $14 for you, dude. And it's like, okay, so how does this escalate? And I mean, obviously for a lot of women, it's like eventually it's like there's weird sexual shit going on. It's like, and sometimes again, it's a cyclical relationship always.
They just got their fucking.
Or the board
out.
Or they'll have the board where they get up, walk, and you know they like draw the fucking donator on the wall, which these are tame examples, but it can get dark for sure where like you actually develop like a weird kind of.
It's pornographic. It's very pornographic.
But
that's my girlfriend, dude.
Say again?
That's my girlfriend. I give her money because she's my girlfriend.
No, that's it too. People like I feel like for male streamers most of the time. I mean, like I don't know. You have some gay.
Yeah.
You get some gay viewers, but like. The people that donate to me consistently are like, it really seems like it is a parasocial thing where they're like, I'm in his head. Dude, and it's not a power thing, but it's just like a friendship thing.
Someone donated like $250 for me to take off my shirt, and then someone posted it on like a gay board on 4chan and said, I like his milky body. I've never been more disturbed. They were like, he looks milky. And I was like, just thinking like, what does that mean?
And that could,
it means you look like you could lactate.
Is that what that means? I feel like it looks. I took it more as like it looks like I drink milk.
Yeah, high milk diet.
Yeah. Like I eat some dairy, so there's some fat there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But maybe it was like I can lactate.
It's probably just
that's what you want.
You got a sick fucking chest pump. That's probably what it was, and they fucking.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
They acknowledged.
They were looking at my areola.
But yeah, dude, that's like a real thing. Like you kind of you lose a bit of your identity because like you end up getting fucking dehumanized, and it's like it's not that deep, of course, it's the internet,
but it's also your choice,
and it is, well, not always, but like because sometimes you can get tricked into it and shit, you know what I mean?
Like, but generally it's your choice to walk down that road.
Totally I totally agree, but it is something that people are naive about, I think, when they first start streaming or whatever the fuck, where it's
but you have to be self-aware about it.
That's a big issue. Like I'm fine with I like know all these issues, and I'm totally fine with them, but I think you have to be cognizant of like the wagers you're making, like YouTubing as well, right? Your first year on YouTube, you're unpaid labor for an ad agency. Like that's what you do, right? Or like even when you're like just starting out, like I'm still really small. Like I do not get minimum wage from AdSense.
Yeah, right? No, so I've never gotten good AdSense. Yeah,
that's what I'm like making videos for a platform to put ads on. I'm fine with that though. Like I'm accepting that wager because like the ceiling is so high. Same as streaming, but like you have to accept that.
The thing about the streaming thing and all these things that you like quote unquote know going into it is I think it's hard to really understand what that's like until you're like kind of experiencing the effects of it on like a higher level.
Yeah. It becomes real
like
when you see other people reacting to what you said on Twitter or shit like that. Like it's like
not even that, but just like, you know, the whole like quote unquote terminally online meme. Like I used to talk about how people were like terminally online and clearly made them miserable.
Yeah.
And I was like, why wouldn't you want to kill yourself if you're like that? And then not that I want to kill myself or I'm depressed, but I will say I have become more terminally online over the past while, and I have started to see the effects of that within myself, which is something that I have criticized in the past, which makes me a hypocrite. And so it made me realize, like, I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
I've had that. You have that
Also-
face the mirror moment.
Also made me affected my gym performance, which is obviously a big deal for me.
That's a fucking
Big deal for me.
That is a big
But it
deal.
did. It did.
I've experienced that.
Because when you're streaming for 8 hours, you can't really eat.
Yeah, true.
You can't really eat.
Otherwise, you're Hassan, fucking like not zero fucks given, just like
Yeah.
eat through other people's content or whatever.
Yes.
And yeah, the
Do we have Patreon questions?
No, we don't have Patreon questions.
Okay, I'm gonna do the Patreon questions.